to make everything work, but he's doing good. He's adapting, and I think the more we play, he can get better and better until the finals.
Can you elaborate on those role changes, or do you want to keep that secret for now?
No, like AG.AL is a Spyro right now. He's taking the charge of the game, and Ferris is taking the second caller role. Yeah, something like this, yeah.
Okay, that's good information, thank you. And just as a kind of final question here as a whole, what's the skill ceiling? What's the level that this Na'Vi roster can get to? Because you guys won a PGS, but from my mind, I feel like an EWC or a PGC is on the way for a roster like this. So what's your perspective on it?
Yeah, I agree with you, because I think this is the best roster I've worked so far. Individually especially, we lack a little bit of experience, but with Spyro coming to this roster, it like fills the gap, I can say. So definitely sooner or later we will get it, and I hope this one is ours.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Alrain. I'll let you go back to your team for now here. That is me, Kalara, signing out with Alrain here for day number 3 of the group stage.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue. Welcome to our last day in this EWC PUBG Battlegrounds. You know what? Today, it is do or die, guys.
That's right, 16 teams will battle tooth and nail to secure a spot in the grand finals today, whilst 8 will have to sit on the sidelines, watch and wait. It is a brutal reality watching the leaderboard slowly climb and potentially surpass you.
Yeah, but like we saw yesterday, like any team can just pull off a big games and instantly locked in their spots into the finals. So nothing is really over and no one is truly safe.
Words couldn't be true there, Luti. And so, coming to you live from the Gadir City grid in the Port de Versailles in the heart of Paris. Make some noise for your teams as they fight to secure a spot in the grand finals one last time. Starting with 17 Gaming!
Navy!
R8 Esports!
T1!
Four Angry Men!
GAM Esports!
GK Esports!
Genji Esports!
JD Gaming!
The Vicious Esports!
Team Nemesis!
Sharper Esports!
Team Liquid!
Myth!
your reigning club champions, Team Falcons.
And finally, your defending champions of EWC, Twisted Mind! This is it. Our teams are locked in and ready to fight for 6 more games of group stage, while the A team of Group A just waiting and discover the destiny.
That's right. We don't have to emphasize the importance of the next 6 maps. Our players know exactly what to do. They have been here before. Thousands of hours played, no stone left unturned, and the best teams in the world ready to go toe-to-toe. So it is time to close out the group stage of PUBG Battlegrounds at the Esports World Cup.
In Group B, I'm going to go with Twisted Minds as our biggest rival.
Probably say 17. They've been the most consistent team. Navi's also been very good.
워낙 좋은 퍼포먼스를 많이 보여주는 좀 슈퍼스타 선수들이 많아서 미스가 가장 라이벌이라고 생각합니다.
Blue zone behind him. No options, no cover. Gets the headshot. It's dicey between the two. Peeking back and forth.
虽然说 Twisted Mind 是上届 EWC 的冠军，但是我们面对他们，我们还是很有信心的。我们队伍不惧怕任何队，我们遇到了之后都会全力以赴。
I don't want to fight Navi because they got Hackatory. That guy's built different. He's very scary, very good at the game.
There's no one that I'm scared of or like don't want to fight, you know? We're them. We're gonna win. We're the best.
这个小组也没有我们想打队伍，因为这个小组比较均衡。
Honestly, it doesn't matter for us. We're just ready to fight everyone.
Welcome everybody to the final day of group stages. There are some teams that have a lot left on the line to fight for, but they also have to get by Myth, where we are going to write the next chapter in what has already been an impressive 2026 for that squad.
Yeah, for sure. And again, my big question here, are they going to absolutely send it, break last year's record, go for that triple digits, take all the points away, soak up everything that is possible, and make it even harder for the other teams trying to get into that big final? Of course, we're going to be sending 8 teams home. We're going to be crushing 8 teams' dreams today here. And yeah, sure, some teams are not playing. I think right now you could say Petrichor Road is definitely not making it. TYLOO with 43 points is not making it. But SOOPers with 53, I think, unfortunately, they're not making it. I think the cutoff is going to be around that 55-point mark.
It's going to be the question all day long, and it's really going to depend on those teams that have already seen great success, like Myth, like, Twisted Minds. Falcons, who kind of showed up yesterday, like Liquid, who had a very impressive day 1. So it really so much kind of leaning on the results of this first map. Will those teams that have already found success continue to find success here in day number 3? But we are in the plane, we are ready to go, and we are starting things off on Erangel.
Yep, we're going to have 2 Erangels today, 2 Takos, 1 Rondo, and 1 Miramar. And yeah, that's the teams that's coming in. Very impressed with, of course, Twisted Minds and Made in Thailand. That's already above that threshold, far and beyond. And yeah, they can come out and farm a lot here. And the big name coming back for Lou for Twisted Minds, even though the Tab had an amazing performance in their day, he's going to be coming back, and that's a big name to put in the server.
Never forget the Tab double kill through the smokes. He's going to put that on his already impressive highlight reel of times where he's unfortunately had to fill in for one of his teammates, but they are banging on all cylinders to start things off here today, and that is terrifying news for everybody left in the lobby. You see all the faces of all the players. A lot of stress on some of those players, but some of those faces looking a little bit more calm. We'll see how it plays out here now that the plane is in the air. The drops are coming through, and we'll see if anybody drops close to each other. They've managed to avoid it for the most part these first 2 days, any early game shenanigans.
Yeah, Severny and Novo here, playing path from the north to the southeast. A little bit difficult for some of the teams to get to the western side. Fairpier's long stretch. Some teams are going to be having to go close for that, so let's see what ends up happening here. There might be some contests for cars and so forth, so it's going to be definitely interesting. And also with the circle, like the plane path with like this here, we could end up getting some crazy circles, either all the way up north or southeast with like a 50-50 circle. At least that's what the tendencies has been with these plane paths here, Poro.
Feels like we managed to duck Military Island for the most part.
You say so.
So far, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But oh, there you go, hard north. As you said, another hard shift coming in once again. Well, Gen G right there on the south side playing around Razak. And we did get a chance to sit down and speak with Seoul about his tournament so far.
저희는 에란겔에서 그룹마다 좀 다르게 떨어지는데 뭐 그 이유는 일단 파이널에 올라가기 위해서고 저희가 하는 모든 행동 하나하나는 우승을 위해서라고 말씀드리고 싶습니다.
They are on the clock here, Poro, for sure. 26 points so far, and with a roster like this, with names like this, PGC champs in the roster here, they should definitely be making waves. And today, uncontested on the drops. They are looking good. Rorschach is a strong start here for them. It's a top 3 prior getting into the circle. You can already see D moving in there. Daniel has been having some great impact actually for the team. Quite surprised with how much he's been able to lift for it, and now already being that front scout, trying to see out and get the information that's so crucial in a rough circle like this, where you're already counting out about 40% of the playable space, and it's going to be such a high priority. And also, when you look over to the other sides of, you know, a Nemesis that's already in the Severny, they're already locking down some of these high priority spots. And Lou, he is back. He has been flown in and arrived today here just to be ready and saying like, oh gosh, you already made it. 69 points, nice. But let's see how far we can take this. This is the absolute best practice you can get for a player like Lou. I saw he was grinding rag with some of the guys across all the hubs in the community, so that's been amazing. And I'm sure he's going to be absolutely ready for this.
He did get in a little bit late last night, but should be nice and warmed up. You saw he already took a couple of shots there at Gen G as they made their way across the river, so a little bit of damage already been collected here by Twisted Minds. Meanwhile, 4 a.m., the story this year so far has been 4 a.m. and T1. They just cannot seem to avoid each other. Well, at least to start things off here today, 4 a.m. has one Yesnaya, and T1 has been relegated down to Ferry Pier, but it should be okay for them.
I honestly regard Fairpier as a pretty high drop. Sure, it's nice, also great if you go for that loot there, but
bad.
Especially with the amount of military zones we've seen throughout, and also the Primorsk, the Fairpier, the amount of water we've seen, it's a strong drop. Let's see how far they take, and also I'm super excited to see them back against each other in the lobby here. They always make the games extremely exciting. Sharper has locked down some of the higher spots of the high ground here. Jedi already peacocking just a little bit as Spaceman is rotating around to get some information, see if there's open possibilities and open compounds that they can lock in. He's not getting any shots coming in from the junkyard, so they're going to be able to take that. That's a great spot in this circle here, Poro.
As we see all of our teams kind of making their way through. Yeah, Geeke getting a little bit close to R8. It's been a slow start, to say the least, here for R8. And yeah, Geeke, they decided they want a piece of this. They're going to find Teddy. Sasungjang will get his first knock of the day, and Park Pro will do him the honor of flushing him out. So now Geeke knows that R8 is over here. Empty, you better have a great path planned ahead of you to escape this.
They had 10 points in their first 6 games here. Now they start their second day like this here. It's not looking good. They need a record-breaking day here. And as I talked to Lace about here, it's my book, man. I already count them out. Like, it's going to be too difficult. There's too many good teams in this lobby here. And now with 4 a.m. having locked down multiple spots, Lou has the information already. Nemesis is also aware of some of the locations coming in here. You can see Lou already with the comms. Speaking shots coming in multiple sides here. Damage done to Spaceman. Hits some ammo also, but it's returned immediately to the headshot.
That's what you always got to be worried about, right? These guys can actually shoot. very, very well. So you don't have a whole lot of time to just sit around and ADS taking shots. So Lou will heal up and escape back to the rest of the boys. It looks like Twisted Minds just currently hovering around on the south side of this zone. We saw them running into a couple of teams over by that Razak Bridge, but now they've got it pretty much clear to themselves as we check in with JDG.
And JDG right now 34 points, as you see on the leaderboard here, and that's currently just outside that cutoff. With Falcons in 15th and them in 16th. Petrichor Road is that 16th team. And I would say maybe even now, already in this game, they're going to be out here. It's such a low threshold to having be playing 12 games. And with former PGC winners on that roster, that's just so unfortunate. I don't know if it's the demise of missing out on having a player like Ix left on the team, or them not being prepared. You saw in the interview with him, they were absolutely not worried about fighting anyone. Not had the chance to do much of that so far. And now Myth coming in, and that's a team you want to avoid. Thunders finds Park Row here as Sharpers gets involved with Geeke.
Geeke, we saw them run into R8 a little bit earlier, but Sharper proven to be a little bit of a tougher opponent as Tanawat will continue to make his way around. Yeah, secure that point. 2 now collected for Sharper as Thunders will have to retreat. Getting sprayed down here by the remaining angry members of Geeke. But Geeke now having to play that forward as a duo.
It's a bit unfortunate, yeah, for sure. Especially it's not a high prior position with the current first zone. How sure you can hide your cars a little, but it's more of a waiting spot more than anything. And that shelf just above them. Sure, they're going to have enough meds with that station, but sure, I don't think you really see them unless the circle moves away from them. They're going to be able to take the compound where R8 is at for the recalls. I don't really see them getting them 2 back. So let's see what happens now on screen with 17. Yesterday, in my book, 23 points. Having that central drop spots is just not good enough for a team of this caliber here, Paro.
No, very high expectations been placed on this squad, and deservedly so. I mean, they're R8 PGS winner so far this year, and it has just been a slow start. 23 points, as you said, but this is, again, one of those teams that has that reputation that if they get things going their way, they can put up an incredible amount of points. I wouldn't be surprised to see them put myth levels of points up in one day should they get the ball rolling. But it's going to all depend on this first game here. See if they can start finding their way. Check in with GAM on that northern coast, pulling in on that western side of a very wide split Team Liquid right now. We'll see what Party Cardi decides to do as he sees this approaching squad.
With the red zone here, it actually drops drop dead center onto ALO's location here. They're going to lock down that compound just above that ridge west of Servanary. It's actually a really strong spot. It's very breachable when the team's coming in on either side of the ridges, but as a phase 2 spot for a location here, that is massive for them. I wonder if they're going to stay with the 2-2 split or they're going to try to link back up as a 4-man.
And also a very another hard, well, it's not a hard shift per se, but it is hugging that coastline. There's still about 30% of the circle is water and unplayable, and GAM taking over that cliffside now means that entryways will be limited. As we see, still 61 left alive, 6 teams up. It's going to get pretty crowded in there pretty quickly.
And the scary thing is, alongside that, you have like 2, 3, 4 teams that's basically already qualified or close enough to doing so.
Yes, sir.
And then they can start playing around it and be extremely greedy. GAM is one of those. 50 points is looking great. They just need one more decent game here. They know just by the merit of being in the next 6 games here, they're going to have, 1, 2, 3 kills. Shrimsy finds Ajar from R8. And R8 is losing players here. That's unfortunate, but they did get the res off, and Geeke did backfill that position, as I was talking about before. Might be able to res as well, so that's huge for Geeke, as Falcons continue the slaughter fest that they had yesterday from that last game on Erangel.
Yeah, this is nice here for Falcons, just kind of playing in from the edges. Managed to catch that 1 point off of R8. As you said, Geeke able to get those blue chips. They're going to get their players back, but man, even when you get them back, where do you go? There's just everything is occupied right now, so they'll maybe at least be able to throw them a gun here or there to play around, but it's going to be dicey for sure, as we see Sharper now pulling up into that bunker location. We'll be able to retreat, get that res off. The Nemesis has eyes on. This is really just trading shots on the northern side of shooting range here. Sharper finding some success, but they do have to stop down and get that res onto Erzapalui.
Delays just a little bit. Jedi being out already. 2 kills. It's looking good to stack that up from the beginning here. You just need a high average. You just need to avoid those, 0 and 1 point games.
Feels really early to be right here, doesn't it? But I mean, I guess when you have the pickaxe, and you can
the
create
terrain
that,
is important here, yeah, for sure. I'll say this though, again, we're eliminating so much base as you talked about. Now though, we have to talk about this. Falcons pulling up onto DK. They saw that they were having a rest here, so a count going out, and that might be massive. I don't think they're even going to get the guys back from that recall.
Might not. Songjang, the last player left alive, he will at least have time to heal, and he is going to spot out Tiggleton. Won't be able to go for the flush. He will. That's going to be Falcons losing one early. Shrimzy just not getting the angle in time to prevent that flush. We'll see if Falcons can get rid of this player. Songjang, obviously a hero in the scene. He will go down, and he got it. He stayed alive in time. That is great work from Songjang.
Now Pro and EJ, they're just going to be birds in the sky. They're going to have to survive, have to try to rat out. Chan though finds 2 from Vicious. Simon and Tygan goes down here. More kills coming in for 17. And with the circle going south, there's just a perfect southern shift for everyone to still be inside their locations. Only GAM is going to have to reposition Falcons as well. And for the teams coming in on the southern side, they're going to just have to slide in and just try to survive for just a little bit.
No, I worried. I mean, historically, that Waves spot that 17 is playing in has been very dangerous to try to go to early just because of how it plays out. But, oh my goodness, Cold 119. Going to be sniping. But, yeah, the fact that with the destructible terrain now has made it so that 17 can kind of dig in there a little bit more than you used to be able to. And they're able to defend themselves and stay alive as 4. We'll see if that plays out for him a little bit later in the game. As the circle has popped, it's going to square up right on top of shooting range. Nemesis really kind of on the clock here.
Yeah, they need to show up, and this is a home serve circle. This is their chance to put points on the board. Sure, they're central, but defending shooting range is an absolutely insane task to have ahead of them here.
You've got a couple more revive stations being popped off. It looks like Falcons will get one of their boys back, and R8 going to be doing the same, as Gustav has been kind of hovering around on the southern side of the circle looking for a place to come in. But Falcons will get their man back, and we'll see where they go from there. Empty gets spotted out by Gustav, and really it's just kind of the edges, people playing around this periphery of shooting range, the high ground, the low ground, everybody very, very close to each other. Still 54 left alive.
He's on the arena. We also have some of the GAN Expendables fans in there, and there for sure. With this Western shift's going to be easy. Shots coming in on R8. Empty. Absolutely pull up from Shrimzy. More points come the way of Falcons. They saw this as an easy target on their way and on their transition on the way into the circle here. Now they're considering how we're going to approach this. Can we take some of the lower ground? Can we take some of the higher ground? We've seen them before be able to play some of these edges quite well with getting kills, and 4 points already. That's a decent average here. If they could just continue that for the rest of the day, they're absolutely fine.
Yeah, just do that. It's easy. Why not? No, but Falcons, I mean, Erangel has been a nice little spot for them after what was an amazing salvage game yesterday. We'll see if they can find some more success here as we see 17 working their way up to the wall. Nemesis just playing it slow, playing it quiet, and letting them get a little bit closer, as it looks like everybody's kind of found a foothold. I see one person on a mortar, and that's going to be Team Liquid. We'll see who they're aiming at.
With this next circle pop, it really decides a lot, and that's a southwestern hard shift. Navi is laughing. T1 has already set up so much space just ahead of this, and look at the amount of teams that's inside shooting range. There's going to be so many fights coming in from that northern and western side here. Now the Falcons and Myth are moving in as well. Twisted Minds are pulling up. Vicious out in 16th place here. That's so much damage being done from multiple sides. Sambler's out. Batulis is knocked here. A little bit rough for them.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get Batu back on his feet, but it doesn't. Yeah, okay. I think. Oh, now Perfectix has gone down. A good grenade from December 12th will get him low. And now the man who just arrived last night, Lou, is the only player left alive for Twisted Minds. But JDG not freely allowed to continue raining utility down, so they're getting shot off. But now Nemesis looks like they have spotted out something here. They're just going to spam the smokes with grenades, but maybe a res coming in here on Perfectix.
Falcons managed to just...
That's not where boats go.
Falcons managed to just send it all the way through here. As you see Gam approaching 17 Gaming. Winbo is that front point man. They know there's a car there. That's a quite obvious, easy nade to be thrown in his direction. They're trying to get them information here. The double nade towards Xiaowu does not connect.
Yeah, they're going long with the utility, so if they didn't spot the car out, either that or, I mean, Wimbo's just being very, very quiet right now. But you see Duckjuice and the rest of the boys, they're going long range. Smoke's going to slow things down for the time being. Wimbo waiting for the perfect time. But now, shots. Nice shots there from range will get Clory's low. And Gam, as you said, they're just fancy foot dancing around. There you go. The grenade from Wimbo will be perfect. Gets the knock on a Clory's. Almost takes down Tanbu as well. Another one will follow, and he's going to find Tanbu that time. Duckjuice now going to recycle those smokes, see if they're able to reset this fight. But I don't know if Wimbo's going to let them.
Logos pushing in. Oh my god, it's a huge third-party opportunity for so many teams, but 17 is making all the work here. Chan finds him. Well, that is Gam Esports out. 7
Super
kills.
well played there from 17. 7 kills now for them, and Team Liquid is trying to hold off Gen G's push. They do get a couple of knocks to start things off, but a good grenade from Salute will find Luke 12. It's down to just ALO and Cowboy as Salute and Soul will push in. Trying to find some heads peeking. You're not going to find them in time. Team Liquid will wipe out Gen G.
Extremely well executed here for Team Liquid. I may have said if we have a good game one, we might be making moves here in the next one. And it's a pull-up from RA. Teddy's coming in here. Cowboy's active. M249, he jumps in. Teddy gets Cowboy. Huge play here from him. Aimbot finds Halo. Now it's just down to Petrichor.
And R8, this is about their third revive at this point. Empty just hit the ground, but he is now knocked once again as Petrichor finds himself the last remaining player for Team Liquid. Hitting all those crates, see if he's got any more utility, but you see the shots coming in from range, but nice. Aimbot will take him down, and R8 just refused to die.
We might have to call them recall 8, the amount of times they've been called back into this game here, multiple, and that's them being able to survive. It's just insane. Now shots coming in here, Sharper as well. They need these points here. They need to extend and put on points with the board here. 31 points, 19th place power. That's going to be rough considering how far this next circle shifted, and all the teams in the northern side are going to have to fight for just the little space that's left alive.
Yeah, they do have a lot of work to do, but as you mentioned, the circle cutting south once again, so let's not forget about Na'Vi and T1, who had great positions on that hillside, have not seen anybody. Nobody has managed to wrap so far as to get into their area of control.
Right.
Falcons, meanwhile, they've sent it towards the center. They find a great center position, so they're just vibing right now for the foreseeable future as everybody is fighting their way out of shooting range. JDG, grenades will be thrown over there, but they're not going to find the mark.
Shen takes so much damage. 9 HP. Spaceman's been found as well. The last hope alive for 4 AM. They're going to have to make moves. So many teams are trying to get in here. JDG's holding off. Myth is fighting them. Meanwhile, R8, 17, and Nemesis have a huge brawl, and T1 is third-partying everything from the high ground. Sharper is out in 11th place.
17's been doing so much work from these fields. They managed to find yet another team flush, up to 9 kills, and now their attention is fully on Nemesis. But you see the third-party shots from T1 causing 17 problems. Melman will throw the cool guys don't look at explosions grenade, fade away, run back, play the wall. They do know that they have to keep an eye on that wall down from R8's perspective, but R8 now eliminated. So Nemesis down to 2 will just be fighting through as Twisted Minds are right in front of them.
Yeah, Nemesis, all these sudden shifts here makes it so hard for them, and they're that last team to go out before the placement points drop. Top 8 teams, and JDG, what a great hold for them to be in the edges and ridges of this high ground. Now they're pushing up. They have cover to play with as well. They're going to be the last team to come in from the north, but T1 is moving in for the third party. They want points as well.
Yeah, JDG farming right now. As you mentioned, that ridge line proving so huge as nobody from the high ground can see them, but T1, they want a piece of it. They're going to come down. They'll spot out December 12th. Nice shots from Heather will take him down from range, as now T1 will find 2, will find 3. Cold 119, the last player left alive for JDG.
5 kills for him so far. Can he defend this? He cannot. JDD goes out in 7th place, and T1 with the aggressive push paid off, but Myth is coming out to feast.
Beautiful work from T1, but as you mentioned, Myth now trying to take advantage, but can they spot them out in time? Raining the only one knock so far. Heather has the near side, runs out of bullets, has to swap guns, spots out Jacob at the tree, will force him away. Doesn't get the knock, but at least pulls them away long enough to where maybe Type can get that res onto Raining.
Yeah, even with the 8 kills that T1 have in the top 5, this is a great game for them. They're pushing the lead even further, 54 points. Welcome to the finals, guys. This is your ticket. This is your game. And now they can make life hard for everyone else. Myth now on their approach to get into this northeastern side of this new circle, but Falcons set up a perfect hold on that in all their foxholes. They've got cover. They've got everything to play with. T1 saw that, and they're disengaging to go around on the western side. That's a massive play for them. So smart, so coherent. Meanwhile, Na'Vi has been holding that central location, central compound. They've got all the information.
Yeah, Na'Vi has just kind of been watching this game play out in the kill feed. They haven't really seen much of anything. They've been holding up on the high ground for so long, but nice flanking angle here from T1 as they'll collect their 9th kill. That one's going to be on to Gustav, but they will lose Type in the process as now Na'Vi has started to flex out. They're starting to find more angles. Myth trying to push their way into Falcons, but they're getting pressed by Na'Vi still as well.
It's difficult even with all the Doritos on board and all the vehicles.
Oh, look at T1.
Hard time. T1 saw the knocks. They saw that they were losing players. Kickstart is low. That nade might be right in his foxhole. What a great nade.
Oh
58 damage. He's going to have to duck and weave out of that. He might go down with just a few more utilities being thrown in his direction.
A vehicle about to explode as well, and
They're
he will
out.
go down to the vehicle explosion, and Falcons gets eliminated in 5th. T1 now up to 10 kills as they are just farming on the edges. They'll turn their attention over towards Myth, who is still 4 strong. They've managed to get revives on all of their knocks, but look at how T1 is playing. Just so aggressive.
I love that aggression. That's so well played. So well executed by them. And they realized they had so much space ahead that they could just go for it. Now Myth, it feels like everyone has been avoiding them. Once we saw the fights come in, it's like, oh, it's Myth. They already have qualified, so let's fight someone else. But Heather and T1 do not care about that. Baron goes down, and he's in the front smoke. And with Ian being so aggressive, there's Panzers alongside this too. But Heather and Ian, 4 kills each. Can they make it even further?
Well, at the same time, we see Na'Vi. I mean, we looked at them yesterday where they had a great opportunity to get a lot more kills, but they played it a little bit more cautiously, going for the win. But what a shot from Heather. We'll take down Scappy Kiss, now the last player left alive, playing around the edges, looking on the smokes. One is about to go down. He go for the res here. That is extremely ambitious. Ian should spot this out shortly, and he will. Kiss will get taken down as 14 kills now for T1, but Na'Vi in the driver's seat. But they have gotten 1 point so far as the game has played on. Somehow EJ from Geeke has been all by himself here on the southern side, not spotted by anyone.
I've got to apply the same strategy. If you can see some free placement points, you got to be safe and secure about that.
Absolutely.
4 guys alive here with everyone holding so much control. And there's just 3 kills left available. EJ from Geeke, Heather and Ian. Ian, what a shot. And 7 kills for Heather so far. It's insane.
Great work.
Are they just denying this? Like, they realize that it's just 7 players left alive, and couldn't make the most of it here with Geeke. Almost a guaranteed 2nd place at this point here. T1, they know that potentially that Na'Vi is already qualified too, so they might have just a fight just for the scraps. Here we go.
We'll see how aggressive they decide to be here in this late game. Heather in the end trying to wrap around, but Na'Vi is already ready. They'll find one. Hacksaw will take down Ian. Heather will try to return the spray. 1,100 damage for Heather so far to go along with his 7 kills. Ian will get flushed out.
EJ might find him. He might drive straight into EJ. He has an MP5, and no, stun grenade is going to be going out here, and that push is coming in. Heather's low, and the heel just popped off. He's going to be able to get it. Heather's get found. Shots coming in. EJ just with the close drives, and EJ gets found for Na'Vi. They get the chicken dinner here. They're basically back-to-back from yesterday.
I mean, you know what? Na'Vi didn't really play a whole lot this game, but when they got to the end, they did what they had to do, secure those wins. I mean, if Navi was sitting on 35 points coming into today, maybe they get a little bit more aggressive. But the difference is they were sitting on almost 50. So, you know, get your 10, secure your 10 points, do what you got to do. At the end of the day, that's all you really need. They're up to 57 now.
Yeah, they had 44 points going into this game. They didn't feel like they were qualified, so played safe, played secure, and get that double digit.
It's just smart.
Yeah, it's just smart. But now, Poro, in the last games, I want to see them play the way that we love to see them play, that aggressive play. And Hagator, sure, they got a few kills here and there. The EM kill and the EJ1, putting them to 3 kills, but still a second place clutch from EJ to get 3 kills. That's 9 points for Geeky in a game that did not expect to get the more out of it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 3 points picked up along with the second place. That's well done there for Geeky. But gosh, the story of the game has to be T1, right? Like, they came in and were just taking fights with just about everybody, and they were winning them, and they were winning them clean. And that is a scary T1. If they are coming in that kind of confidence, that's good news for them, especially now that you look at the leaderboard. They're probably thinking, okay, we're good for finals.
And it's a great perspective, right? Because they come in and they're like, okay, people are probably going to play a little bit scared in the first few games, so let's just go aggro, let's just go for the fights. If we have space, if we can third party, we're going to do it. And these guys are so skilled.
They are
T1, man, and you've heard it. A lot of the interviews we heard throughout Esports World Cup here at PUBG Battlegrounds, honestly, most of the guys have talked about how T1 has been able to be so aggressive throughout the year, and they continue to do it here at the Qiddiya City Grid.
Well, that is game 1 taken down. We've got 5 more left to play, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Qiddiya City, powered by Play.
A lot of people are haunted.
See this? Made with Envato without a production budget, and you can do the same. As a video creator, I need high quality visuals that stand out but don't come with a Hollywood price tag. With an Envato subscription, I get access to video gen for B-roll, music gen for soundtrack, AI voiceovers and images all in one place. Plus unlimited downloads of motion graphics, LUTs, transitions, templates and fonts, everything I need to edit faster. With more than 26 million assets. Cut the cost, cut the time, and make better videos. Now that's seriously great value. If you're a creator, this is your sign to try Envato today.
We're gonna try to play hard, and we're gonna try to be in highest team vitality in PUBG like Navi.
Lifting a trophy in MLBB at the Women's International in Week 2 was a statement from the French club. They are on home soil and are aiming for the top spot, just like the Vitality PUBG roster.
We're playing so many practice before EWC, and we're gonna playing scrims and little tournaments in our discipline, and we're ready to be winners.
Vitality are not the only ones with their eyes on the PUBG Battlegrounds trophy. Current club championship leaders Navi are also very serious title contenders.
Ми не звертаємо на це уваги, насправді, тому що ми сфокусені на нашому результаті, на нашому EWC, тому ми не звертаємо уваги на це.
T1 has had mixed results in the club championship over previous years, but this time they're off to a better start.
클럽 포인트, 클럽 챔피언 포인트도 생각을 하면서 하고 있고, 저희도 잘하면 좋지만 이제 다른 팀들도 잘하면 좋기 때문에 다른 종목들도 응원하면서 좀 이 EWC를 좀 재밌게 즐기고 있는 것 같아요.
With 1,000 club championship points on the line, the PUBG Battlegrounds final results may bring a new leader or make Navi an even more powerful club championship contender.
It was none other than Navi putting up a masterclass, Toffees, in that finale.
I mean, I would 100% call it that. The way that Navi played that end game was beautiful. We saw that yesterday. We saw the end of the day and the discussion of champions mentality. Would you make the push? Do you save the points? They did both this time, Godspeed. Yeah. They flexed out to the left side. They sent 2 players to watch the T1 Falcons battle to make sure that if anything bad happened, they could go in and get some extra points. They didn't commit to it. They pulled them back immediately. They left Spyro up there to sort of guard the rear. It was just an absolutely beautiful play to how they executed that whole thing.
Yeah, and there was no need for them to really overextend, right? Because of the fact that they already had 48 points, I think, going into that. They didn't get a lot of kills, but they didn't need to get a lot of kills because the point is to just secure the win, make sure you make the top 16, and that was, as you stated, that was a massive. It was perfect. It was just a perfect play. No overextension. That's what we want to see from them.
They were able to do that. As we look at the match ranking right there, even though they end up getting the win, as you mentioned, they didn't really have to get that many kills. One team that was able to get a lot of kills was none other than T1 with 14, Lays.
Yeah, I mean, they had a cracker day yesterday as well. I've been obviously watching these closely, but again, to come out with that from day one is exactly what I expect from T1. Like, this aggressive play style needs to be honed in these particular matches. And, you know, we saw it from Heather. We saw some awesome plays from Heather yesterday, but now it seems like they've kind of made these a little bit more calculated than, I'm not going to say luck, but it was a bit questionable yesterday.
In my opinion, well, Na'Vi wins T1 because they came out aggressive. They took the fight to the Falcons. They looked for points everywhere they could get them. And that's what we said. We need to see them make these moves as a team, and they stepped up and did it. And that's the exciting part. They were not scared to take any of these fights. They went head-to-head with the monsters in the lobby Myth right after going head-to-head with the secondary Falcons, who are just sort of legendary across the scene. And then they face off whenever they need to. They're willing to take that fight with T1. They're GK. They're willing to sort of try to hold off Na'Vi. And I respect the tenacity they came in with today.
Yeah, and I think, again, the scary thing to talk about with T1 is 4 a.m., right? What happened at 4 a.m. this game? I'm pretty sure they dropped a donut. And that's the threat. As they come in, we see that the rotations are slightly cut. We see that they now also have to deal with not only T1, the other teams in the lobby, but T1, as you stated, they're coming in so confident. They're taking all those fights that it's going to be, I think, an issue once they catch up and they actually do qualify, which are pretty much already there. As you can see here with the stats, they're just going to get more and more confident and continue to dominate.
Well, when we talked earlier today in the pre-show, we said Heather, people besides Heather need to step up. Yesterday was the Heather show. Now we got Ian coming in with 5 kills and almost 1,000 damage to support him. Then, you know, rating only with 252, but Type finishes the fight. They steal a bunch of kills. They've been making good rotations. So those two support players really setting Ian up and Heather for good moves in this game.
And earlier, Godspeed, you were talking about teams that weren't really able to get those points for Angry Man. Another team that needs to start getting points, if they even want to have a slight chance, which is going to be super far-fetched, is none other than Nemesis, Lace.
Yeah, look, this team has such an aggressive play style, which I was sort of expecting to sort of see yesterday, but it's not something that they have been apparent. We were sort of calculating the numbers in the back room there, and they're going to need about a 7.5 but 10 average to be in, you know, that top kind of thing and not go home. Now, this is something where, you know, we want to see that aggression from this team, but unfortunately, they haven't been displaying that. I think they only got 1 point on the board from that previous match in a fight against, was it 17? And then Twisted Minds came in, unfortunately, with a third party, and they just can't capitalize on these eliminations.
So far, their true nemesis is themselves. They've got to figure out how to get those rotations cleaned up a little bit, stop running into a little bit of trouble, and then having the confidence to take the fights. I mean, these guys are all experienced players. They've been on Na'Vi rosters at one time or another. They've put the work in at the highest level. They should be doing really well.
So said, wake up.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to Nemesis, the problem is they're just not that style of team. They're just not that style of team that's just going to come out and have these massive big games. And the problem is they need a big game to start climbing up that leaderboard, as you can see here. Now, Myth, I mean, they're well on their way to 100 points, but Nemesis, again, their style is not push aggressive. Let's clear the edge. Their style is, hey, let's get control and kind of let the kills come to us. And I don't know if that's going to be enough here, Steve.
Yeah, and from some of the other squads, I mean, we saw Team Liquid being able to put up some points there. It was a total of 5 in the last match. GAM being over aggressive and then ended up backfiring for them. One thing that we're actually be seeing here in the next page is none other, it's going to be in the next one, it's none other than 17. We were talking about teams being aggressive. 17 was definitely aggressive. They ended up with 9 eliminations.
Yeah, I mean, Tian alone went like 3v1 against Vicious and just absolutely wiped him out. So they look like they came in with the knowledge that we have to put points on the board. We're in 19th. 34 is, to be blunt, if you are with an organization like 17, that is an unacceptable number to come into day 2. You need to play bigger, harder, make heavy moves. So I think they're on track. They got those points. They should continue to climb today. And that's one of those teams that if you don't see them in the final, everyone's disappointed.
Well, they don't want to be disappointed. We don't want to be disappointed, even though Shadow Esports is not playing today. I got to give them a shout out because it's still my team that I'm hoping that they do end up performing somehow. Yeah, totally biased. Thanks, Toffees.
You're welcome.
But for everybody currently watching at home, make sure if you share anything on social media, just use that hashtag EWC or hashtag EWC26.
It's crazy how accurate those cameras are.
That's how I feel sometimes when I'm standing next to you guys. But you know what, Kalaris, let's see which tall person he's with next.
Oh, many a mystery person here down on the stage. But yes, that's right. I'm going to be with Matchroom this time here to talk about some of maybe the rivalries, some of these conflicts that are going on between some of the teams as well. And I would be remiss if I didn't start with good old T1, taking some fights left, right, and center.
Specifically, it feels like this event, T1 and Falcons have had some really bad blood where it's been T1 getting the better side, most notably Heather, as that's been the clip that's going around everywhere with the BRDM. But also, if we look historically, T1 has often rotated very similarly to Falcons and screwed them over.
Yeah, it extends even further than that, right? T1 obviously in PGS has had that with 4 AM a lot, and we saw that really come to a head where they got that second place against Myth down the line in that PGS. So I was looking forward to maybe some T1 and 4 AM action today.
Whenever we think about international rivalries, it's weird because we don't have a lot of them, but the ones that we do have seem like they focus around Falcons a lot, because there was the Falcons and 17 off of the hot drops for the center of the map, and then whenever we look at like EWC itself, of course, it's Falcons that have won EWC historically, and Twisted that's won EWC. So it all seems to be everybody hates Falcons.
Big names, I can understand why they would have targets on their back, that's fair to say. I think that obviously regional rivalries are something that kind of play a factor as well, right?
Yeah.
EMEA is kind of rife of this, not supposed really because of like how the results stack up, but because of the way in which the players move. Over in CIS, for example, Twisted Minds, some of them filter down in towards, of course, where Na'Vi is. They were able to bring on some of the young guns, and the Nemesis is in a position where it's literally everybody was on Na'Vi before.
Well, whenever we look at PUBG, right, it's a lot of people that have to just scrim to try to get everybody together, so everybody does kind of get to know each other. It's just a little bit of, like, I guess, individual rivalries that kind of stack everything together.
All right, well, thank you very much, Matchroom. It is time to get into our next game. Let's head over to the commentator team for our next game.
Welcome back, friends. We have one game in the books, and Na'Vi got the win, but it was the T1 show to kick off our day here. Now we are done with Erangel for now, and we're heading over to Tego. I am Porosaurus. Joining me once again is Avenger, and not a bad way to start off the day.
Oh, what a way for T1 to do that. Show their aggression, show the confidence, and show the dominance from the get-go. And yeah, as you say, it's time to Tego.
It's time.
Bro. And it is, and we're going to be having, of course, this game and 4 more after it. So if they've got 5 more chances, Poro, to make the most of it. And right now, yeah, sure, Myth have put themselves into that first place. And it did feel like a lot of the teams were a little bit scared to face them because there's just no point to fight these guys. They're going to throw everything they have at you because they're already qualified and already going to that final. As we go from the western side to the east, and you see right now, you said 64 players before. All right, right now, half of them look nervous. The other ones look content.
Well, I mean, for good reason that some of them should be nervous and content. As yeah, I mean, look, Myth obviously didn't get a win last game, but you saw them looking dangerous.
Right.
Like there was 5 kills. They just happened to run into the buzzsaw of T1. They look like they have not dropped a beat since yesterday so far. We'll see how the rest of their day plays out. They are very close. I think that's Myth. That's very close to Team Liquid right off the drop here. Yeah, that is. That's them right on top of each other. So wasn't expecting to see any early hot drops, but we might get to see just that. Team Liquid still have a lot of work left to do here. So they do not want to take the risk here of going out early.
It's going to be fun. I mean, Liquid and
not the
Myth.
team you want to run into, though, if you're Liquid.
I mean, both of them did announce that they're going to go book Sansa. So now with Liquid's last game, they're like, okay, that's enough. Let's have some fun with it. Let's see if we can lock this down here. And maybe sure, and then that's what we want for the finals. Myth is a funny team to go up against, though. So if that team goes out, if Myth goes out early or Liquid, that means that the top-end teams that historically throughout the game so far, they're not going to get any, so there might be more points on the board for our mid-pack and lower-pack teams, Pro. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see how they approach this with a Western Circle 50-50 bet to go north or south. That's historically been fantastic games because we actually have quite the entries to go on multiple bridges here in Tego.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, you obviously got a lot of competitive experience. When you see a circle like this that is 50-50,
right?
How much of a priority do you put on playing just along the coast versus just throwing all your chips either north or south based off of what you've seen circles do before?
Right, now with land ratio not being in effect here, we can still have the circle basically still having water in phase 4. It's not going to go away from it. So just focus on you either having an exit plan for either going north or south, depending on where, but also a big focus is if you're close to the water and have a great spot for that, you could get a lot of kills. Like, you could just not care at all about winning the game, but getting those, 8 to 10 to sometimes 12 kills, as we saw Twisted Minds doing their day one without any placements, that's going to be enough. If you can bag 10 points from just kills, you're fine. But again, if you can set up in a situation where, like a Nemesis or a Gen G that have, somewhat easy entry into this circle here, you would want to lock down spots that's close to the bridge where you're also able to get out of your compound without being held. So that's really what I'm looking at here. For 17, though, they are in terminal. They have a Twisted Minds that's hungry around them, looting the classic Twisted Mind split here on Tego. So that's what I'm really looking at. So Team Liquid, they escape from Buxansat. They did not want to go face-to-face with Myth. Again, no point here. Like 52 points. No. With more games to go, is going to be enough for them. But again, as I said earlier, these games are your best possible practice for you to prepare for our final games. So I understand you want to make the most of it. Get as many fights in as possible. As we see here, though, Vicious, we saw them yesterday, Polar. I was expecting some from them with Tycon, with Dogma, with these guys on the team, but I did not expect that much. And right now they're in 14th place with 45. They could easily make their way into that final.
Yeah, it was a heck of a day for Vicious yesterday. Starting things off, and look, Team Liquid 4 deep in the U.S. right now. I don't think wants to get involved with anybody, but they may end up getting involved with Vicious. Now, this is another question, right? With a circle like this, if you are a team like Liquid or Vicious or Falcons, where you're very, very far away from that initial zone, do you slow play it? I mean, do you just kind of come in with the zone, or even eat a little bit of blue just to see what that next circle decides to do?
I mean, that's exactly the problem. When you're so far away, you have no information ahead of you. You don't know if any of the compounds in, so you have to get in and you have to try to get space or be prepared for the worst possible, right? So even if the circle goes west or north or even stays on either side of the water, you're going to have a plan. How do you want to approach it? And when you're getting in this late, it's going to be absolutely different. Jedi, though, on the other side here, he's going to be able to get some presence. Full 3 gear. He left a gun behind, so we might be able to check out what that is. But on Teiko here, it's not just, it's like Santa. He crashed, and now all the presents are coming out. And he left an arm.
Oh, my.
So that's a bit of a surprise, but usually
somebody else likes that.
It's very designated for 1 or 2 players on the team to be playing those bold actions here. But he left it behind, so let's see who ends up grabbing that. But that's a strong gun, obviously.
That feels like a Tanawatt gun, if I'm being honest.
That could be it for sure.
Tanawatt or maybe Earth.
Louis could be too, yeah. And now another absolute fantastic situation here for Liquid. They're going to be able to come in and loot Song Am late, and then be late to the circle coming in here. Now on board with Gustav, the newest edition of Falcons. They're going to be coming in slow from airport. Now shots come in, though, from Twisted Minds at 17.
Takes the tire out and causes him to spin out, but not. Actually, I think might have thrown off the seat swap spray, but Perfecting's now all by himself, and he is going to get hunted down. Wenwa will take him out, and that'll be a point secured for 17 as Twisted Minds once again lose a player early. But it looks like the rest of Twisted Minds actually want a piece of this. They're going to continue to collapse. They're all in vehicles. That might just be them positioning, making sure that they can get that chip.
Yeah, definitely trying to put some pressure onto them so they don't steal it away and just run for it. Yeah, of course, 2 teams that's extremely close to each other. That's going to delay both of them, and that might mean that a team that's coming in later than them from the same side, like Falcons, could run into them. Now here with 4 AM coming in, a lot of teams actually end up rotating in from the south to the southwest side here, so they could also be running into each other. R8 ahead of 4 AM. They're going to be getting inside the circle and somewhat betting on a southern shift here. It looks like they're not looking for more information further ahead inside that circle.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of our teams are betting on the south. Now, obviously off to the east is where it gets confusing because you got Twisted 17 and Falcons.
Right.
They may commit to going north, but currently on the island we just have T1, JDG, Gen G, and Geek. So everybody else that started on the mainland, that started on the south side, is elected to stay there. But Twisted Minds, 17 Falcons, all going for this same bridge over by Yongchong. Right now, Lou leading the way, as looks like 17 will spot them off in the distance and pull away. So yeah, now the Twisted has made their way across and put themselves in good camping position. I think maybe 17 is saying like, maybe not. Maybe we just kind of hang around here on the periphery and wait and see what this second circle decides to do.
Yeah, exactly. And now with Falcons here, again, looking for information as Vicious is quite literally rotating into the circle and towards the circle. And Power might to have a little bit of help here. Simon comes back. Now shots come in towards them. It's Sharper. They're putting on some pressure on them. They want to disengage and get away from this area here as the swamp area is. It's a very, very vile area to drive through. And now they might tangle up with 4AM.
And remember, Sharper is sitting on all those big boy guns too from the care package drop. So Vicious smart to just get in the vehicle and get on out, but Tanawat right up the top, but it is going to force them into 4AM. As you said, Spaceman seat swapping, not going to matter. Pow will land the shots, gets the knock, and now a lot of damage being done on the window, but he'll find Simon T. Spaceman gets flushed out. Pow is down. 4AM fully committed to this fight with Vicious, and Sharper has to see this in their kill feed and think we can get some more points off of this. Let's get involved.
That's so unfortunate for 4AM getting knocks, but don't get the points. Shen gets found by Jedi. 4AM on a lot of pressure. Winda, it's a meme. Can they make something happen here? Can they move in and get the reses off? I doubt it. Sharper, look at that. Another, and an MK14 in the hands of Thunder. Tons of big damage is being done. A headshot takes Winda out.
Oh, just unfortunate timing all the way around for 4AM. Shen will get picked out of that passenger seat by Tanawat. As we said, the Alm did go to Tanawat, so there we go. Now we know who has
You know what you're talking about, that's great.
Now we know who has Alm Prio when it comes to Sharper. Well, the new circle has popped, and it is not 50-50, but it is a lion's share on that northern side. So already, while that fight was going on, a number of our teams that were on the south have made their way up to the north. It looks like Twisted, Falcons, and 17 were able to avoid each other for now, but 17 have made their way across by the fishing camp, and they're already getting shot at by Na'Vi.
17 sending it quite deep here in a central location. This West Palace kind of area has a lot of areas to play here. There's so many rocks, there's so many high grounds, there's so many compounds where you can accommodate. 17 is trying to find a home.
A few shots being sent over their direction by T1, and that's going to force them to get back on the move as they were already kind of shepherded by Na'Vi. They've lost tires. They've taken a lot of damage onto these vehicles. Looks like Xiao Wu is just going to stop down. The rest of 17 will group up just off to the south. Meanwhile, a number of teams getting very close to each other here on the south side. Myth and Liquid, actually Myth and R8 rather, are going to be scrapping right on the coastline. Baron, the point man, he is surrounded currently, and he's going to go down to Ironbot.
That's a very unfortunate situation for Myth here, but then again, R8 don't care. They need everything they can get. Currently last place, 13 points. Nade straight towards Scabby, 39 damage, and a BRDM pull-up from Empty.
The BRDM working huge here for R8. He's going to be able to spot him out if nothing else and let him know that he is by himself. But range shots from Jacob will take down Ironbot. He's doing his best to defend his teammate, but only one down now for R8 as they continue to kind of hover around here. But Liquid has seen this in the kill feed. They hear it going on just off to their east. They're going to try to get everybody back together, but they do have GAM taking shots at ALO.
ALO goes down to Clarice, or PGC 2024 MVP. Clarice might be able to flush that out as well. A little bit unfortunate for Team Liquid. They are disengaging from it as well, so GAM will be picking up that point and putting themselves on 51 points. And now T1 lost the end. They have been playing greedily about it. Our next circle popped, and we're going to have a Palace proper ending. The question is, do we end inside or on the ridges and edges and high ground around it?
Right on top of Palace. Na'Vi currently kings of the Palace. Nobody else in there. You see Falcons kind of hovering around on those hillsides just off to the east. The rest of the teams on the west side going to be running into each other. But this is very dangerous terrain to fight in over here on the west, as I mean, they can get right on top of each other before you see them. You see Gen.G already taking shots from Nemesis, and now JDG also paying attention to him.
Huang F going down. It might be the pink hair that everyone sees for an easy. Oh my god, the double flip. Are these guys skaters or something like that? Oh, well played.
A little THP Little THPS3 in there. I love
Yeah,
it.
sure. Purdy gets some shots. Gets Nanawat down. Jedi, though, returns the favor. And Jacob, third parties. EarthSap, Sharper taking a lot of damage. And now utilities being thrown towards Team Liquid.
And Cowboy trying to do his best to at least secure the point before they go down. But Thunders will spot him before he's able to do that. Tanawat down to half HP, but he's on multiple knocks now. He's going to have to get revived as Sharper just in the right place at the right time. Once again, Luke 12 all by himself, and he's doing some damage. We'll take down EarthSap. Tanawat still not res. Jedi will be in the 1v1, and he'll get it. Thunder will get the credit with the grenade, but Sharper, with all of their utility, all of their presence that they picked up from that care package earlier, down to just 2.
Sharper on their first day was looking not too good, and now Sharper looking great. 7 kills,
yeah.
38 points. Sure, they're still outside that top 16, but if they continue this, this will look great. Though GAM with that pull-up, they're trying to get so much pressure onto R8. I don't think they realize they have a Panzer. Clarice finds 2.
GAM saw this coming. They saw the BRDM in the water. Came over here as fast as possible with that Panzerfaust in hand. Get the double knock immediately, but MP will trade it back. Kiss now getting involved from range. Teddy, the last player left alive, and he is only alive by the grace of that BRDM. GAM still on that high ground. Will keep those smokes alive so they can maybe get the res onto Duck Juice, but Kiss finding damage and getting points for Myth from the south side in the blue.
He just stole 3 of what the kills were supposed to be GAM's. And what a way to capitalize on that for Myth. Falcons also sneaking in on the outside, and now we see Nemesis rotating in on the southern side of JDD. They're trying to put pressure onto them. Stead crashed out. He lost his car now. He's going to have to make a run for it. He's outside the blue as the zone moves in. The other guys are taking damage. Soset down to just 25 HP. Shot comes in as well. Oh
my goodness.
It just got 1 tick. 4AM is out meanwhile from Tycon, but that's going to be rough. State's going to have to use everything to try to get in.
Boy, Soset just getting in just before that blue zone tick came through. Instead, let's keep on running. Should be okay, I think. Yeah, nobody on the south side really looking over in this direction. JDG can't see him, so should see him be able to arrive once again as Myth on 92 points overall. Last year, our group stage winner was Rock with 105. Myth in a perfect position to smash that record.
Absolutely.
As we see JDG now repositioning once again. There's a fight going on in the north with GK and Twisted, while Sosed is eyes on Sharper. Jedi is taking a boatload of damage off in the blue as they're going for the revive station and fishing camp. So Sharper really like what they've got going on so far and want to continue the party as they've already got 8 kills.
So much base on the northern side. A lot of the teams are just forced to fight on the south and western side.
Tycon down there in fishing camp as well. I think he sees this and will try to take him by surprise. Meanwhile, let's worry about the people that are inside the zone. Genji trying to defend their territory. Yeah, there it was. Tycon got spotted out by Thunder, so it looked like Tycon was trying to be the sneaky one, but Thunders will spot him out, so good work by him.
And Diffix finds Jedi as well as Nemesis trying to make some space on the southern side there. Inevitably going to be forced to try to fight either JDG as Na'Vi is also taking shots towards him. Makes no sense to try to push Palace even though it's in, but we'll see how aggressive Na'Vi plays this one out here. They see heads, they see actually the head of PGC 2022 winner with a former Na'Vi player on Melman. The Georgian superstar. Yeah, he's got a mortar. Have to make some it looks like he's making space for himself alongside that ridge. That's actually so smart, Poro.
See where it lands. Yep, he's not aiming at anybody. He's just trying to create, as you said, some divots for them to play in and try to keep those cars alive, try to keep those tires up, and they're going to send it immediately over in that direction, and that is a nice little spot for them to camp down in and hunker down in for the time being. And they'll immediately have to retreat as you see Boostic and Hackatori on that northern side. Now, Na'Vi do have friends in Palace. They do have the last couple of duos here from Myth and GAM. Maybe not friends, a little bit more aggressive neighbors. Hopefully they'll remain passive-aggressive neighbors right now, because if Myth and GAM start getting active, that might cause problems for the boys. Yellow, oh goodness. The exploding vehicle will be the thing that takes down the duo of Melman and Stade.
And you know what? That was actually a great play from Nemesis. The problem is they did it where most of the teams were located. If they did this on the southern side, there's 8 teams looking at them. If they did it on the northern side, there would be 2. So that's so unfortunate. But yeah, 17. They come back from what was a rough day yesterday to just absolutely fracking out today, Power. So I'm very impressed with how they've been able to play so far today in these 2 games we've been witnessing.
Looking good so far, and now they're looking good once again with that circle pop as they are about as close to dead center as anyone. Gen.G trying to make their way in from that western side. Will run into Lou, last player from Twisted Minds, and Lou will get 1. We see JDG trying to see if they can finish off the last bits of Nemesis. Twisted Minds will go down as T1 still has angles onto all of this. They have a compound on the western side. You see them taking shots over towards Cold 119, but that's just hopeful sprays into the smoke.
Now JDG, they are fighting for this space here, and Mortar Rain is coming in. Suse with a nade towards Sose. This is going to do some damage, might hit Diffix even more. 40, and then the combination of Spyro's Mortar knocks Diffix. The last player is Sose. Can he do something? Can he withstand this JDD push that's inevitable?
Might not even matter because Navi's still on the mortars and they're still sending him over here as they just got a knock. So Sosa trying to play the edge, trying to look if he can see anybody coming through the smoke. But he is blind as a bat right now, and Suze will drop down, but that is more. He's going to go down to Nonce grenade. But the mortars are still coming.
Oh my god. Yeah, they didn't even need to create this space here themselves. It's going to come on in later. Gen.G got some extra grades here and set up shop, and now T1 is aggressively pushing their Korean brethren.
Worth noting that. Oh, there's a go. Heather will find the nice knock on to Salute. Maybe open up a door here for T1 to push in as the mortars continue to fall around JDG. On the north side, though, Geeke has been doing really well. 4 kills for them so far. Falcons also 4 strong, making their way in from the north, where it's a little bit more clear than it has been on the south. Navi eventually are going to have to leave this palace as JDG's Cold 119 still trying to make that Car 9 sing.
Raining finds Salute once again after that rest from D. Now they're trying to put out some defensive grenades. Can D get a quick rest? Salute is bleeding out fast. That looks like a 4th knock to me. Cold, look at that. Still rocking that bolt action. 400 damage. No kills so far. We saw some great knocks from him. And JDG needs a sudden shift to make anything happen. Otherwise, they're going to have to pass through a aggressive T1, a 17, and a Navi. So let's see how far they can take this one here.
Yeah, 17 just on full area control right now. We're just kind of waiting to see where the circle takes us. T1 is a little bit more exposed to JDG. There you go. I mean, if you're getting 500 damage with the bolties in hand, then why not? Cold 119, you continue to do your thing, my friend. And let's see where the circle decides to take it. So are we going to get another hard shift? No, we're going to go dead center, and that is fantastic news if you're a 17 fan.
Absolutely. But they're going to also have to make it from that Navi push that's going to be happening just shortly. T1 Type finds December 12th. Suse falls out of the cards. That happens. Type finds Nance. JDD is falling apart. I was talking about it. If they didn't get a southern shift, they're going to have a hard time, and Type has just been the man to do exactly that.
Oh no, they try to go for the pull-up with 3, and Type gets 1, and the other goes down. As just fat fingering F a little bit, and now Type is free US delivery. Cold 119 will try to see if he can take him down, but Type is going to get him as well. 1-man army. Type taking down all 4 of JDG, and look at the smile on his face. He knows he just got away with murder.
And as he moved across to that fence, you saw him doing the Korean slide. A perfectly executed mechanical skill in this guy is just next level. Oh, Rimsey, 50 damage here from a mortar. The other one does not connect as it's just moved a little bit further.
Through the trees comes death, doom, and destruction. Will Falcons will stay alive?
Songjang.
Still all eyes on Falcons as T1 will now return to this Gen.G incident after picking up a little bit more utility. They can now make this push with a little bit more confidence. Heather will go down to Bean. D gonna find Type, but in the end, oh no, D still alive. Gen.G holding strong here. It looked like the push from T1 was gonna be more effective, but Gen.G is just keeping them at bay. Raining now the last player left alive, and look at 17. They're starting to get more active.
17's trying to ensure that the space that they have on the southern side is theirs. And they know they're inevitably going to be fighting Na'Vi here. Gustav finds a Khan. And Falcons realize it's GK. It's a team that's currently not inside the top 16. If they deny them space here, they know that our PUBG Weekly Series from Korea here, the team that have been doing so well.
That's another one. My goodness. In the land of culinary masters, Gustav is cooking these grenades perfectly, but Shrimzy will find two. EJ will find two, though, in return. GK not going down without a fight. It is so hard to push anybody as a four-man squad in this game. Everybody is doing such a good job of holding on the line, but ParkPro is blind. T1 does get eliminated. Shrimzy, the last player left alive. Peak battle versus ParkPro. He's going to do a lot of damage, but it's not going to matter. GK holds the line.
Insane for them to get 8 kills and a top 5 from this. Sure, they're down to 2 people here, and Genji is pushing that, but such a GK play for them to be able to pull that out of the bag here. ParkPro now, stun grenades comes in. They know that there's some pressure here, but they're going to go for the res. Oh, the drive-by for Bean. Oh my God, perfect play for Bean. And Genji gets a top 4.
What a play from Bean there, just backing it on in. Why not? Well, Genji now has control over the entire north side of this zone. We are in zone 7, and all they have to do is really just kind of hold the line, wait, and see if 17 and Na'Vi are ever forced to go into each other, as they are still full 4-man squads. Na'Vi once again playing by the playbook of let's just keep 4 alive. I mean, nobody's really pressed them that much coming out of Palace. 17 kind of in the same boat, like they sent it to that good position early. Nobody really came in. If they did, they defended it well. 5 kills for 17 so far. But it looks like Na'Vi might be considering sending it up to the north, so that's going to put Genji back on the clock.
And surely, if Na'Vi wins this, they're going to shift into the power-hungry and fragging superstars we know they are here. But then again, if you just get these circles, why not just take it? Why not play around with it? You do the same in the finals. But I do love myself some of the kind of play style we see from Na'Vi when they're extremely aggressive, just pull up and everything, drive by and everything. But with new leadership within the team, deciding a little bit differently how the game plays out, that has shifted towards being extremely winner-winner, chicken dinner heavy. And I like what I'm seeing. Absolutely. You can guarantee yourself these top 4 positions alongside some of the kills that's going to come along with it. That's going to pay off.
I think when you're speaking from a viewer perspective, though, when you've got Hackatory and Boostic on your team, I don't think you want to see them getting their points from placement, right?
Sure,
like you want to see them going out there and just popping heads, man, clicking heads. Well, they're going to be in a perfect position to do just that for the rest of the day if they can secure this win. As actually, I mean, they might be in perfect position to do it already. 64 points, they're pretty much on. And meanwhile, Genji is just absolutely looted right now, and they have the high ground. 17 starting to make their way in. It looks like they maybe got some vision here on Na'Vi. At least one part of their duo did. Xiaowu taking shots over in that direction. Not finding any knocks.
You know what I hope for this game here? I do hope that this next circle is going to go northwest, where 17 and Na'Vi is forced to fight each other, and Genji just third parties it perfectly, kills all of them and gets the win. That would be perfect, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
They found an arm up there, and now the circle does go center, and it does kind of force both 17 and Na'Vi to make a little bit of space ahead of them. But 17 does have a good ridge to play here. But once we get a little bit deeper into this game, they're going to try to figure out, is it worth maybe trying to sweep the western side to get Genji out? That'll be 2 guaranteed points from the kills if they get them, and the point for placement. But then that'll enable Na'Vi to perfectly third-party that fight. They're going to have to do it quickly and swiftly.
I mean, you can see 17, they've got a little bit of a ridge line here that they're working with that they can hold on to for now. And that's giving them some angles onto Na'Vi. But other than that, they're not really seeing anything. And Navi's got that pickaxe. They're digging in. And they're just not providing 17 with any targets. So eventually this ridge line that they're working with is going to be outside of zone, and it's going to force 17 into a different position, and that may be what Na'Vi is waiting for.
Yeah, I'd rather see a smart push to take space away from Genji here now. With the circle closing in, that space gets slowly eliminated. But with a gillied out D and a Bean with an arm, that's going to make things difficult.
It's only 2 of them, but that is not what you want to have to push into here. Is 17, it feels like, is the one that is kind of on the clock. As Bean, they'll spot him out, getting a little bit closer. They cannot allow Lil Ghost to get into grenade range, which is exactly what he just did. Fortunately for Gen G, that grenade will sail just a little bit long.
He just got full 3 gear quite easily here for Lil Ghost. That's a scary player to give full 3 gear. Left the gun behind, but it does not matter now. John finds a nade onto Fairest.
17 doing what they can to get into utility range. They find the first one, but Na'Vi with the happy feed is going to avoid the next few that come through. They're going to try to return some utility of their own. None of this utility really finding the mark, but Gen G using that opportunity to start taking a little bit more space, see if they can get the angles. Sprays come through, get them low, but no knocks to be found just yet. Na'Vi have weathered the initial storm, only losing Fairest. But Tiantan and the rest of the 17 boys have taken up so much space. They have priority here on center dot. You can see what they're working with, the little ditches that they have to hide in. But there you go, a grenade will find Xiaowu, and that'll even things up.
So much utility, so many nades being thrown here. They don't even get to shoot their guns, as now we're going to see Spyro's going to be pushed forward. Bean, third party though, the Hackatory goes down. That's a big name to take out already.
And it's also forcing Na'Vi to push around on this south side. So this is playing out exactly how Gen G wants it to. They're going to force Na'Vi to push into 17. The Panzerfaust comes through. It does half damage onto both of them. That was actually a great Panzer through the smokes. But Wenbo now with the blue tickling his heels has to move, and he's going to go down to Boostic. Boostic will get traded by Lil Ghost, and Gen G in a perfect position to capitalize off of all of it.
G plays so aggressive. Gen G might take this. It's a 2v, 1v2. Bean continues. Spyro finds him, but he's down now. That's Na'Vi out. And 17 wins because of the blue damage. It's
blue
a chicken
zone.
dinner for them. I do not think they expected that, considering the looks on their faces.
I don't think they did either. I think 17 thought they were down to 1 player. He was bleeding out, and all of a sudden he just gets the game winner screen. So winner chicken dinner for 17 as Gen G left to sit there and wonder, like, maybe he just lost it in the smoke. I don't know what happened.
Some people have a good sense of direction. Others, they need a compass. That was definitely a lack of sense of direction, it feels like. But then again, stun grenades, everything, you can get extremely blinded, and we don't have the information here.
Oh,
let's go.
Goodness.
Lots of fans in the arena here today, and for sure hoping for a placement inside the top 16 so you can get into that finals. And 17 did exactly what was needed.
A wild finish there on Tego in the smokes. As once again, we see how important utility is at that late game and making sure that you have enough of it when it comes to the end, because you can guarantee the team that you're going up against is going to have just a ton of grenades, a ton of Molotovs. And Gen G, I love the confidence that we were seeing from that squad that time around. I mean, from the T1 fight, holding them alive, it felt like T1 almost had them dead to rights, but that duo of D and who was it? Was it Bean? It was
Bean, yeah.
Yeah, D and Bean just playing so well.
Yeah. Them being able to get that much points, that many kills as a two-man, and they're great third party onto the GK action as well. And what a great Tego.
Oh, I want to see this replay for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
How close was it at the end there? I mean, you see Bean and D just fighting their way through.
Ran out there.
Oh no, he ran out, and he was trying to heal. Maybe I'm not sure.
On the edge of the blue zone as well.
Yeah.
So rough, but yeah, well played by them, of course. You're trying to avoid giving points over to teams you're fighting up against directly here, so that is important to do. And a second place in the kills to come alongside for Gen G here. That's massive. That's a big game for them.
Well, also great news for 17, because they definitely had a slow start by their standards yesterday.
Absolutely.
And then so far, through 2 games here today, they have looked fantastic. 7 kills that time for, I think, 51 points overall. So they're sitting a lot prettier than they were at the start of the day. A lot of work still left to be done as we see Geeke. I feel like Geeke was in a great position to get a lot of work done, but they ended up losing just too many players in their battle against Falcons.
Yeah, I actually expected Falcons to kind of approach that just a little bit differently, but they knew that that high ground was so crucial to kind of approach how they're going to be playing.
Well, all these teams left to wonder what to do for these last 4 games, but we're going to throw it down to an interview with Barney and 17.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I've got Lil Ghost here from 17 Gaming, an impressive day number 2 so far, especially that last game, managing to secure that winner-winner chicken dinner. Now, Lil Ghost, I want you to talk about kind of the differences between day 1 and now today, because you guys have started really strong.
那么今天呢，我们有一个非常棒的、精彩的这样的比赛。那么我们首先呢，想要恭喜你一下，然后呢，想要问你一下的问题是：今天您的比赛和昨天的比赛相比有什么不同呢？我们今天看上去打得非常好。
其实昨天我觉得可能是我们没有完全进入到比赛的状态，然后今天其实在赛前也一直在做准备。
Well, in fact, I think yesterday we were not at our 100%. We were not at our best. So today we prepared a lot, so we did better.
It's good to see you guys coming out strong. Now, your name, your name, Lil Ghost, but also your team's name, 17 Gaming, is synonymous with PUBG Esports. I mean, this year alone, placing top 5 3 times at PGS, now coming into the Esports World Cup looking very, very strong. I want to ask you about your team. I want to ask you about your latest signings this year with Tian Tian and Wenbo. How are they fitting into the team? How are they gelling? And kind of what's their role?
那么我们知道呢，你的这个团队是非常强大的，而且呢是在我们的整个的电竞当中，尤其是在我们这个游戏比赛当中呢，都是非常知名的。但是您最新有一些新的成员，像天天和温波，我们想知道他们2位成员呢进入到这个团队来之后，对于这个团队有什么样的影响，或者说他们是否适应这样的一个环境？
让我们团队中的火力更充足了。 然后他们现在只是可能缺少一些磨练吧。
Well, I think they definitely made our team much stronger. At the moment, they probably need a bit more competition experiences, and then we will be even better.
Even better. That would be incredible to see, because you've started out day 2. Well, sorry, the final day of the group stage. Extremely strong. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Lil Ghost, for joining me in this interview. We've got lots more games to play here. So much more PUBG coming your way right after this.
Everyone is playing, you're not yet. EWC Play is your all-in-one platform to compete in fantasy, pick'em, and quests for a grand total of $300,000 in prize pool. Build your dream fantasy team in 5 different games and track your score with live results tables. Predict the winner of every game, every group stage, and every tournament. Complete daily and weekly challenges to earn boosters that help you climb the global leaderboard. Got what it takes? Join EWC Play now.
All right, Groups BC, let's see, T1, Team Liquid. Time for my predictions here on the EWC Play app.
Wait, stop. What are you doing? Where did you even get this tablet? This is mine.
I stole it from Avenger.
Okay, that's... At least tell me your picks.
Okay, all right, T1, all right, Team Liquid, Gen G.
No, okay, wait, stop. Twisted Minds? Hello, it's
Is your mind twisted? They're already in. They've got enough points.
Okay, I get it, but they're still gonna perform good. Blue's back. Hello?
Okay, yes, okay, sure, but they're fine. They're already in the finals.
Navi, give me this. The people out there could pick better than you. Tell us your predictions in the chat for the EWC player. I'm gone. I'm leaving.
Yeah, get out of here.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Oh, ridiculous.
Gremlin. Ugh.
For everybody that was picking 17 Gaming after that awful day 1, boy, have they ended up showing up, because yesterday they were averaging about 3.8 points per game. Today they're at a solid 14 points.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go to middle and get a couple of pops on you in the by the second game. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll believe it when I see it. 17 has been sort of up and down, back and forth. They got to win. I'm proud of them. Maybe they'll be able to put their jerseys on now and move forward. But at the end of the day, I'm just used to 17 as a team being one that requires a certain set of things to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. And historically, yes, they've been a very central team, which is why they always fight for those central compounds, Picado and so on. But looking at this leaderboard, I mean, I think as long as they keep up, as the 7 was saying, they keep up this trajectory, there's a very good chance that they actually just end up qualifying off of what was a very bad day 1.
It really was a team that was able to also have a bad day. One was J&G, and they were able to bounce back in this last match as well.
Yeah, I mean, is it because of, these early risers like, Myth and Twisted Minds being removed early from these games that these sort of teams at the bottom of the leaderboard are able to crutch up? But look, no, I have to put it to them. It was a much better performance from Gen G today. I mean, they had 5 eliminations early on, and being able to hold that space on the northwest side, whilst Na'Vi and 17 were having their little scuffle there. But I think they lost a little bit of composure when they had that smoke there from this, D was being able to cover this. But yeah, a little bit of composure lost, but I think all round it was a pretty well played game for Gen G.
I mean, I think it seems to me like in a lot of ways, Bean is becoming the soul of this team. He's stepped up, he's making big plays, he helps to lead. I'm also liking what D's been bringing, but it feels like they, over the course of the year, have just taken a long time to gel together to sort of figure out how to take that leadership of Soul and run with it. As we look at that head-to-head, 8 kills for Gen G, who struggled in the beginning, and also 17. Like, that's nice to see.
I also want to point out to both of you that they were a duo that entire time, Gen G. So the fact that they were able to not only hold 17 back, but also deal with what was coming up on that north side was very, very impressive. And we see here, they almost had as much damage as a full 4-man coming out from the other team. So
something that we were expecting today is teams like Mid, teams like Twisted Mind come in and sponge up a lot of points. They have been able to get points, but it hasn't been of the likes of what we're expecting out of them.
Yeah, I mean, you saw in the first game, Twisted Minds was in a definite salvage. They had to go up to the north of firing range, which nobody wants to do, and get in a big old kerfuffle, so they had to salvage those points. But they don't have to worry about it. They're in such a good spot. Myth, I think, is doing the same thing, where they're not over-committing, and I respect that. They're saving. They're maybe not revealing their super secret set plays until the grand final, because they know they're going there.
Can you reveal it for entertainment, please?
Well, I don't know. They haven't told me yet. Oh, for them. I want them to reveal it.
I want to see it right
now.
I want to see what we saw day one out of group stages, because they were just running and gunning at everybody. It didn't end up mattering who ended up being in front of them with this here. But the reason why I actually ended up bringing those sponge points not currently happening is because all those teams from Group A, Godspeed, the teams that aren't playing today, right now, they're just feeling the pressure even more, because there is teams towards the bottom, like 17, like Gen G, now starting to perform.
Well, I mean, this is their worst case scenario, right? Now that those teams we knew were probably going to sponge up points aren't sponging as many as we thought, on top of the fact that Gen G and both 17 are having really good games. And if you're already sitting, having known that feeling, sitting out on the sidelines, just hoping a team is going to not play well is probably one of the worst things you can go through. So
I'll tell you what, though, their Sponge may respond, and maybe it's not Twisted Minds, maybe it's not Myth, maybe it ends up being Na'Vi. 2 games in a row, these guys make it to the end game. They've hit 61, they've made their cutoff, but they don't seem like they're interested in slowing. This is one of those teams that I said they could win the world this year with this roster, and seeing them play today is feeling really good.
And Na'Vi's carrying the momentum, Lays, that we saw out of them yesterday. Something that Myth and the other squads weren't able to do, because they had to kind of sit back, relax, watch everything that was going on that could end up currently hindering that squad, but we'll have to wait and see. If you guys got any hot takes, let us know on social media. Use that hashtag EWC, that hashtag EWC26, because earlier we got a chance to see Kalaris in his true form.
True form.
And I want to see what other stuff we can end up being.
Bold
Honestly, I felt tall today at the beginning of the day when I was towering you guys.
So
and
then, shrink here.
Bro, and then I had to get up.
Shrink down a little bit to 7's height. Yeah, I think
No, wait. This is what it actually looks like.
You shouldn't be one to talk. You have heels.
Yeah, but look at me next to you guys. They're tiny.
So if I put the same size heels on as you,
Dude, their heels the same as 7's.
Okay, that's actually kind of fair.
Don't
Grow up,
expose me
7.
like that. Don't expose me like that.
She did you dirty, man.
Earlier we were talking about T1, as we're gonna be bringing up the overall, and we can kind of see where all the other teams are. I actually enjoyed seeing it wasn't some of the other squads like Heather, like the players Heather that we've been talking about. It actually ended up being Type. Type was putting up some nice eliminations for that squad.
Type's my goat, man. He's just the most jolly player every time you look at him, and I love him for that. But to be fair, he's kind of the quiet one on the team. He's normally not the one that necessarily pops off hard. He's just dependable. He's consistent. But when he does pop off, it's actually so impressive to watch. I do kind of want to shift our focus, though, if I may, towards the team that are still kind of struggling. We saw a big fight between Falcons and Geeky, and although Geeky came out on top, I mean, they're still well under the 50s.
Yeah. I mean, I think even Falcons, you put it there, 55 after this game is not going to be where they want to be. I think, sorry, 56. I guess my math is terrible. And they are going to have a little bit more of a climb ahead of them. The thing that I'm worried about is there are a lot of teams piling into this 50s and 60s after game 2, which is bad news, I think, for some of them who are fighting, but really, really bad news for Full Sense and AG.AL. Those are two teams that are like, we need sponges, stop getting points, and that is it. Twisted Mind's going out early at Myth, not getting kills, that's hurting them.
We made the prediction earlier. Remember when we were doing that excellent desk outside as the water was hitting us? It was so fresh, by the way, and wonderful.
Thanks,
we
guys.
said, hey,
For bringing me, by the way.
Yeah, we kind of left her behind.
Yeah.
AG.AL, and we thought was going to be safe, right? Full Sense, hey, 60, 61 points is going to be safe, but you just noted it. Look at that jam, that traffic jam in the middle of the leaderboard now.
I'm going to have to do this. You're looking at R8 Esports down there with 16 points. At what time does a team that actually needs the points ends up looking at R8 and saying, you know what, we might need to go after them to get some free eliminations, some free points?
I mean, they weren't looking too bad. I mean, they were able to get some like eliminations on there, but they're not capitalizing and getting that rotation in. It seems like every time they take a fight, yeah, they'll get some elims, but they're losing majority of the squad doing so. So something needs to change, I guess, with the cohesion of the team. But it's not like they're having a terrible
No, they actually look better today. They dunked on Liquid in game 1. They made a nice little back push and dodged the Falcons trap in game 1 as well. They're at 6 points today, which is almost as much as they got on the first day. So this is already an improvement. And this is one of those teams, and I don't judge because R8, they're unknown by a lot of people. This is a huge event, and anything that they do here is only going to make them stronger for the future events that they do make it to. So I want to see them keep improving.
Yeah, we've seen teams in the past being able to let the pressure get to them. Maybe they take an extra day. That could have been what happened with R8. We'll see how they end up performing in this coming matches. But for now, let's send it over to Kalaris in his true form.
Yes, evil Kalaris here.
I like evil Kalaris. Bring it more.
You like it around knocked Paper Thin on the head?
Okay, look, I cast with Paper Thin all the time. Please take his ego down a little bit. I love it.
His ego?
Yeah, where are you at, Paper Thin? I know you're over there somewhere.
He's somewhere. But let's talk about 17 Gaming, of course, here after this fantastic win. Obviously, they had at the beginning of this year a big seismic shift alongside a lot of the other Chinese teams with their roster, right?
Well, I mean, 17 Gaming kind of brought in some new faces whenever we look at specifically the capabilities of the squad. And this was a squad that had played together for so long and then suddenly pulls apart, half of the squad and then still holding down center points. There's a lot of expectations that if there's any weakness that shows up on 17, that they're all of a sudden going to get pounced on, might be getting tested again. We're not really seeing that. Every single time you start to question 17, like, I don't know, right before this game, suddenly they find it again.
Historically, obviously, they've been multiple times second places at World Championships and things like that with a previous roster. Obviously, they had big shoes to fill, did Tiantian and Wimbo when they came in, but Tiantian, especially for me, has really been that guy to do it. Of course, towards the end of the PGS, he didn't look as good as he did at the beginning of our PGSs. I want to see that Tiantian here this tournament.
I mean, Tiantian is so good that you have some external drama that's caused him problems throughout the year just to try to keep him off the field. That says something.
All right, well, thank you very much, Matrim. Once again, it is time to head over to the commentators for another game. Let's go.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goblin. And we are 2 matches down, and so far it has been the 17 T1 and Navi show. But we can officially say goodbye to Petrichor Road, to TYLOO, and now with 4 games remaining, SOOPers, Shadow Esports, Full Sense, they're on sweat watch.
Absolutely. I would count 4 or 5 teams out at this point. There's some spots up for grabs, and now with our 3rd game of the day, 4 more games to go for it. The point is, though, that I want to make here, though, there's 10 teams that needs to pass that 60 to 61 point mark. I don't see it happening. There's just not enough points available that we see 10 teams shift and make AG.AL and Full Sense nervous. Shadow Esports and SOOPers is a completely different story. They're on absolute the cusp here with 53 and 55 points, and that's especially what the points and the teams are looking for to get ahead for. But now with Navi in the 60s, let's have some fun. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how much soaking can be happening here. We could, from this point on, see some more third parties, see some more hot drops. And as the general statements of the day and the overall genre of what we talk about has been hyped, it's a clear direction from the hiring here at Esports World Cup. It's just to make sure that you have enough space above you to put cool stages behind everyone, right? You see Seven, you see Kalaris, even Matrin and Paper. When they're in camera, there's so much space to show the whole cool scene behind us, because what a stage and what an arena we have here at Esports World Cup.
It is amazing scenes, and I love personally the Key Crusher.
It's amazing.
I want to believe that that is an actual Key Crusher and that's actually like gears in there and it's destroying everything, and not the power and magic of radio.
Usually it's
video.
just Barney snipping his fingers, you know?
Yeah, it's really just Barney.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, look, the guy's vascular right now. He just puts them in his hands and he just crushes them down.
I see him all the time just drowning that creatine. And now we have the circle. Let's talk about what's really important here. We have Liquid in a center position here now, and we talked to them just a little bit before, and we heard, you know, they're saying, once we have enough points here, we're going to make some impact. I want to see that in this game. We want to see some impact for sure. And with Falcons, Tickleton got example down in a really early stage here. It's super important for them. They got a little bit greedy in terms of how many cars they wanted, and Falcons absolutely destroyed that. So that's huge. I guarantee you that Falcons is laughing for that.
Goodness gracious. Iron sights. Well, I mean, Falcons already a decent start to the day. I got to say, man, we've been talking about T1, and for good reason. Like, they've had a fantastic day so far. 25 points just today.
Sure.
But all of our Korean squads have been kind of delivering. Geekay has got 20 points. Gen G, 16 points through 2 games. Like, obviously, Geekay and Gen G, a little bit more necessary that they get the points that they can. Geekay currently now sitting in that 17th spot, just below the cut line. So we'll see if they can continue their good ways as we see a very kind, generous, fully playable Miramar circle start things off.
The vast majority of the team is going to have an easy entry. All already have great spots inside that. And thanks to production for just showing us that entire leaderboard here. That was great, insightful here. And especially for the teams that's already out, that have already played all their 12 games. We're going to keep you updated throughout today, and especially in the later stages of the day. But most importantly, you can see on the left side of the leaderboard where the teams are at currently. And JDD jumping into that top 16 place, and Geekay being that close. They're just trying to hunt down that 53 on Supers and 55 on Shadow Esports. And I think it's doomed for them. I think it's going to be higher than, like if you're 60 plus points, I feel like you're safe. I think the cutoff is going to be in between that 55 to 60 points area there. As you see, Shen and Foreign Grimmen as well. Big struggle bus happening currently for them with 32 points and 22nd place. They're going to have big games, and if you're going up against a T1 that's aggressive, it's going to be a little bit scary.
Yeah, it's for sure been a slow start for 4 a.m. on a day where they absolutely did not need a slow start. They've left themselves with a lot of work left to do. And, well, we've seen this squad, the fraggers that they've got, the superstars that they've got, and Shen and Spaceman, they are capable of popping off at any moment, but the moment is now. They want to make sure that they secure their spot in our final. Check back in with Geekay coming in from the north side, just past El Pozo. Everybody looking like they're playing a little bit more centralized here on Miramar, even though this circle is 100% playable, as we said, and even though we have seen so many hard shifts, I think maybe the fact that we have been seeing so many hard shifts maybe forcing these teams to prioritize a central spot in C1 even more.
Especially getting the spots that give you a lot of information. Well, Falcons, they are driving close, and they know that it potentially could be Twisted Minds. They are getting closer to it, sniffing a little bit. Now that they know that Twisted has not been able to recoup that player.
Lou playing on the south side. Looks like Falcons just want to commit fully to the south side of Power Grid. Lou on his own will get a little bit of damage in his direction from Gustav, but the Panzerfaust will try to prevent any pushes immediately as he is currently blind. Perfectix and Batulin starting to make their way over here. As Lou just holding the line. Falcons have managed to take the inside though. Just trading utility back and forth right now. Nobody wants to be the one that makes the blind peek. Oh, Lou, he's just waiting.
That's a good spot to hold on. Just between the door and the blue zone. And Lou just giving information to the other guys over here. Not having an example is going to have quite the impact. And that's why they're Falcons are hunting here, trying to see if they can hurt an already hurt Twisted Minds.
I was waiting for that Panzerfaust to go through the door, but Tickleton will live to fight another day for the time being as the smoke wall has been laid down by the rest of Twisted. They'll try to get Lou out of there as he throws that fadeaway grenade. Does a lot of damage to Gustav. Gustav will return the favor, though. Gustav has been on point with his grenades so far today. See a lot of damage going on at Batulins.
So it's just a complete disengage for Twisted Minds. I don't really see it being valuable. And also now that they know that guys are coming in from the southern side here, it's giving away space in the north where that could be their exit plan going on out later. They have their cars there as well. So I understand this. This is a smart exit as well. Lou takes some damage now from other points of views. It's a little bit rough for them. Now with 1:30 before the next circle pops here, I understand this decision making here from Twisted Minds. It's the right way to play, even though I really get it. You want to defend your own area.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I mean, look, this is a dead center compound. They know to expect company, and they weren't able to hold the Falcons off initially, but they were able to retrieve Lou safely and most importantly quickly, because you saw Geek starting to hover around on that northern side. Vicious also creeping out on the south side. I think that might have been who was taking shots at Lou in retreat. So Twisted Minds able to reset. Very nicely done by them as we check in with Nemesis. Coming in just north of Chumacera, getting a little bit close to Sharper, but you can see the terrain. It's keeping them pretty well separated here.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. Most of the teams has already made their way into an area where they feel like they can either get information from or where they think the circle is going to end up close to them. We're going to have another 25 seconds before we see that circle pop. And again, that central location along the ridge line, south side of the power grid, is extremely valuable. That high ground where you're able to gather information and see where you're potentially going to have to go. Now the R8 coming in from that western side. It's one of the more open areas where not that many teams are in from. Let's see where we do end up going here, Poro.
Hard shifts have been a story. Let's see if we get one here. And we will, all the way back down to the south. So JDG, Suze in good position, Gen G also in, immediately in vehicles, trying to reclaim, kind of go for center as quickly as they can. Nemesis will try to regroup, knowing that they've got Sharper on their west side. They just heard the shots. Melman actually forced to pull away from that spot by peacocking shots from Jedi, as R8 has found themselves a BRDM. They'll be coming in from the north.
Again.
Backfilling Geek, but the shot's already coming through. Akan taken down to half HP by Aimbot.
Geek is going to turn on this. They're going to know that, well, they're going to have to pass us. So let's try to hurt them a little bit. Put them in an area where we might be able to drive by or even take some shots at them. They don't want to be dashing ahead of them. That's smart play. You saw how they were just going along the ridges there and then now dashing towards the center to have some of that pride. Let's try to get in and get some information in. The drive scouting is extremely crucial. It's so strong here, especially with TPP being in effect. T1 coming in from Picardo. We're checking the southern side here. A lot of teams have actually hedged their bets against it. It's a little bit further southwest, but could be a stopping point for T1 before they decide to go further into this next circle here. Or, you know, just get all four close together so that they can do a pull-up or a drive-by on a team that they feel like it.
The timing working out pretty well for them as they get in just before Myth arrives. Geek will spot out December 12th. Unfortunately, JDB losing one there. So he is a little bit in no man's land. Songjang just making that desperate run to try to get back to the gas station. Won't get there, though. Luke 12 will take him down. But did he get close enough? It looks like he did to get to the... They can't flush him out. He'll most likely get rezzed back up as we see Liquid keeping eyes on R8. Remember, R8 does have that BRDM. They've left Teddy behind. I think he might be the one that's driving it. The rest of the boys have gotten a little bit closer in towards Liquid as Songjang will get back on his feet. But yeah, a lot of teams opting for 4 deep in one building, as that is just kind of what the circle has provided.
And especially with how much compounds is able to be played out here. Hawkinson said, okay, let's go. See if we can get some potential kills on the teams that are rotating around here. Ships is just straight running for 4 AM. They see the cars driving away from them. With a 6x scope on the mini here, you see exactly what directions is. And especially from an area like here, you're going to see cars, you're going to see people moving. Now over to GAM, where Vicious is just right next to them.
I'm curious as to what 4 AM scouted out that they saw that they felt like they could push down onto, because as you saw, that warehouse is already occupied by 17. So 4 a.m., they're just making a full-on send, try to get a little bit closer to center as this circle is closing. New one is popped, and it is going hard west. So yet another hard shift here as everybody will be back on the move. Gam gets a little bit too close to Vicious with that high ground. Duckmai will find the knock. Can he secure the flush as well? Those are shots coming in from Falcons. So it looks like he will get stolen away. Shrimzy will get credit for that one.
That's a great little thieving act there from Falcons. We're going to have all the teams coming in, especially for the south shift to then a west shift here.
Yeah.
Means there's going to be so much pressure coming in from that east and then other sides here. So many teams actually sweeping. The pressure's coming in from the north currently and from the south.
Hard shifts hard enough to deal with as it is, but when they start ping-ponging, right, when they go hard south followed by hard north followed by whatever, it gets even more difficult. Now Twisted Minds, they did manage to get example back. They perfectly timed it to where he was able to drop down in Pecado.
Got the tire.
Falcons
got another tire.
Spot out Ian, gets the tires, and now Ian finds himself in no man's land. We'll see if he can drop the smoke down in time to keep himself alive. The rest of his squad over in that warehouse trying to provide him with some support, and they will do so. Actually, it's going to be Geeke that gets the long-range shots that's going to prevent Falcons from getting that knock on Ian. Ian is barely staying alive. Will get that heal off in time, but he is stuck out in the middle of nowhere.
A few more kills here for Falcons, and they jump straight into that 61 plus points there where you're absolutely safe. Hackatory here finds Thunders, and now Ians takes more damage. And M249 to get, especially the back two tires on the Broncos, you just start spinning like
roller skates, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
How much he's been able to do. Well, he does get retrieved by his teammate, so they will get him back to the compound as Heather keeps a watchful eye over Tickleton and Kickstart. The remaining duo, Shrimzy and Gustav, still out in the blue. Looks like they're wrapping a little bit farther north. I think they may be heard shots from Vicious, and yeah, that hard western circle may allow them to go for a little bit of a blue rotate all the way over to the northwest where it's a little bit more free and clear because they know right now that the way they were coming in was completely packed.
Yeah, exactly, and a lot of damage has been done to the cars. Look at that. We're talking less than 10% HP and a tire missing, so I understand them rotating now. Also, it being phase 3, it's going to be 1 damage per second, and once that next circle pops, it's going to go from 1 to 3, so you really need to start making those rotations now. They actually end up hunkering up onto the top of Vicious here, so it might be an aggressive push for space where they have that high ground control that they're looking for now. Shrimzy finds one. Tygon gets a lot of damage. It's down to half HP, and the other guys are going to be even closer. They're going to be running this down.
That's good shots from Shrimzy. He's that trailing man, and he's got the other boys right up front. They're going to push right into Duckmai. He's going to do a lot of damage. Tickleton's going to go down to Tycon. The trade comes through. No, Duckmai is going to find Gustav. Kickstart going to go down as well. Shrimzy now the last player left alive for Falcons, and VC takes them out almost instantly.
Tycon is back. An absolute prime here. 3 easy kills for Falcons. They had a perfect setup angle from both directions here. Even though utility was deployed, it was not enough. And now Na'Vi, they're going to have to make moves here as we jump over to them. And on board with a rotation from Hackatory here. The absolute superstar from this roster. Vicious, maintain control. Another Western hard shift. It's absolute mayhem from the teams in the east and the south.
Here come the mortars. 4 a.m. will avoid one for now. R8 dead center circle, and they have been causing some damage, causing some chaos. Only 1 kill so far to speak of. Team Liquid just off to their south have 4 deep in their compound, so they will see a lot of teams starting to make their way in on this south side. JDG, it feels like as soon as that second Western hard shift came again, they just realized, okay, we're in point farm mode. Let's stay in this compound as long as we can, see if we can catch these teams as they make their way past us. T1, they at least have 2 vehicles. They'll go ahead and send it, but where do you even send it to? They're having to come in from that eastern side, and it is going to be rough.
Having to thread the needle in between Geeke into Team Liquid, and next to 17 game is going to be difficult. It could just be a straight-up pull-off on the gas station, and it looks like it. EJ trying to defend the eastern side here, but T1 is pulling up. Parks Road finds Raining, and Type returns to favor.
does the damage, but doesn't get the knot. Raining will go down in the end. A little bit ahead of the rest of the team, tries to breach the compound, but Songjang in perfect position. But EJ now has been taken down, and Songjang finds himself all by himself, and Heather and the rest of T1 will finish off that GK squad, and now it's down to 2 for T1, and everybody else that was outside of the zone realizes that. So Gen G and JDG also crashing now that same spot, while Vicious will try to make their way in past GAM.
Extremely well executed by them, and now the third parties comes in. So many teams have to enter from this eastern side. JDG out here, Gen G out here. Twisted and Nemesis also fighting. Vicious coming in, trying to thread the needle once again. They actually found a little bit of a space here. They might be able to play in some of these dips.
Putting Simon T in throwable range of 4AM. They got a read on exactly where those guys are, and immediately the grenades come out. 4AM will return them, while Gen G will they'll run into JDG. JDG actually taking some damage here as well, maybe leaving it a little bit too late. Nans and Suze, the last 2 players left alive. They'll try to come in here and capitalize on what's left of Gen G and T1. T1 down to a duo, but they are holding the line here on this gas station. Tight will take down Nans. JDG in a lot of trouble.
The scenes coming in now. JDG down 2. Bean finds it. Oh, a lot of damage done here to him. 21 HP. Has to see if he can make something happen. That's a great nade straight onto Type. Leaves Heather to just 1 HP.
And Bean just barely alive, has to hop into the Bronco to heal up. And Heather, you can see, only operating on about 5 HP of his own. But you see Team Liquid looking over in this direction, taking shots in at anybody who peeks the wrong window. So Bean, let's see if he can maybe breach and take down that last player. 4 angry men in the meantime does get eliminated in the end. It's going to be 17 that does it to him. Well, Bean still working around the outside. Maybe
I love that.
Get this revive, and he will get there in time. Will Heather allow it, though, as the grenade will come out, but it's going to be a little bit too overcooked.
Blue zone out, pushes some pressure onto this, especially with the rest coming in. Bean sees it. He gets back to cover. Heather finds him, though. That's Bean going down, and you're going to have D having to disengage from this. A straight volley on top of him here. T1 on absolute fire today.
On fire, causing fire, taking down Gen G. They're down to 1 player, but who cares when you got 8 kills? GAM trying to make their late push, and they are pushing into the wrong neighborhood. 17, Vicious and R8 combining to take shots over towards them. As you see Pau is down to 23 HP. We'll have to see if we can heal up, but it looks like they're able to kind of reset here, Vicious. Tanvu now the last player for GAM, trying to send it down in, and this is mostly just on a wing and a prayer here for Tanvu.
GAM's out in 10th place. Scabby finds Soset and Diffex with the MP5 and nade. Makes it difficult for Nemesis to get even more points out of this one. Stay at left as the last one. Myth gets so much out of this one here, and especially having a compound in that's so strong. Shots comes in for Na'Vi. They have the high ground control on the southwest side, and that southern shift in this phase 5 was just insane.
Yeah, Myth back on their old bull, as they are 4 deep in a compound, and they are controlling the south side. Na'Vi once again doing this is different from Na'Vi, but this has been working out a treat for them so far. They have been able to avoid all of this fighting, all of this stuff for the last 3 games in a row, and they have managed to make it to the top 9 with all 4 up and a lot of real estate around them to play as they look off to the distance. Heather will go down to Cowboys, so Team Liquid will pick up another point as Wembwa now just peeking through the slats in that shed. See if we can maybe do some damage to Vicious. You got to figure 17, wherever this next circle goes, this is going to be where they have to look. But there you go, Pau will get that knock onto Wembo before he's able to get to the smokes, and now it's all down to Xiaowu.
Next circle about to pop here, and that's going to determine so much.
Oh,
we actually go northeast here, and Liquid is laughing. Live comms I'm hearing right now is guys were fed. Try to see if you can find any kills, because nobody's going to be coming to us. It bounced just wrong.
I think it bounced just right. It just didn't do enough damage, but that was a great grenade from R8, and they still have that BRDM in play, trying to keep their distance but stay in utility ranges. They're going to start raining grenades down on top of Vicious. The smoke's keeping them alive for the time being, and 17 actually able to get Wembo back on his feet, so back up to 2 as they bide their time. Trying to come in here at the perfect time. Grenade from Empty will take down Pow. Aimbot going to go down, or I'm not going to go down though. Nice trade from Duckmine, as now the BRDM is coming in and he's going to run him over, and that's going to do it for Vicious Gaming, as now R8 will turn their attention towards 17.
Yeah, get that BRDM out of play right now. 17's going to have to do it. They put pressure onto it. You got plenty of bullets. 300 plus 556 bullets here. Wenbo just start shooting. Get that BRDM out of here.
They need to, and they need to do it as quickly as possible. No utility left in the bag for Wembo, as Navi is going to hop 3 into the bus. Make the push right on top of Sharper. They left Spiro behind to keep eyes on. He's going to find the knock on a Tanawa as soon as he walked out of the door. Now the rest of Navi still pushing in. Ferris will get traded down. Arzapaloo's down. Jedi, the last player left alive. He's going to hide inside the shack as long as he can. He's going to find another knock as Hakatori will go down. Boosting going to go down. Navi getting ripped apart here by a number of different teams. Jedi still alive though for Sharper. Spiro was left behind to be that point man, to be that Overwatch, but now there's nothing he can do but watch his team die.
Spiro trying to survive just a little bit longer. 5 more first aids. Trying to outlive maybe Sharper. Jedi though has plenty of bodies to now loot. And Sharper is trying to make the most of it. 3 kills so far, and a top 7 is not going to make enough for them. They're in 19th place right now. They're going to have to get 10, 15, maybe 20 more points today to get into that final.
I mean, you can't blame Navi. I mean, they had the full-on pull-up against Sharper. They take out 1 to start off things. It was really just a great solo play from Jedi there to hold the line. So he will go down to blue in the end. Spiro most likely not too far behind him. There he goes. Navi will at least secure another placement point for themselves by out-healing the blue. But now we are down to Myth, Team Liquid, R8, 17, and Little Old Stead from Nemesis, the last player left alive for his squad over on the southeast.
Yeah, just hoping to get a little bit more out of it. With those 2 teams going out that quickly, he secures 2 more placement points for his team. This circle goes on the other side of the road already. R8 and 17 is going to have to fight and then cross the road. Liquid trying to get the most out of this one here with the little amount of kills they're able to find, because everything's been happening out and around them. Nobody has dared to breach their compound, so it's been difficult.
No more BRDM for R8. They can at least use it as cover if they can maybe take down these players from 17. The problem is they're going to be really tough to get rid of quickly, because they do have those foxholes dug down. Nice grenade will sail past Wenwa. Unfortunately, a little bit undercooked there, or overcooked rather, as 17 will stay alive right now. You can see Wenwa, just the problems he's causing from that spot. They spotted out Teddy, just a straight 1v1. The smoke will keep Teddy alive, but a lot of damage has been done. Wenwa getting a little bit more aggressive. He's going to push into AJ. Not going to get the knock, though. Will have to retreat back to cover.
Wenbo with the 3 best here makes so much possible for him. Now he's going to have to relocate, and Embot finds him with the AUG headshot onto Wenbo, and now Xiaowu, last man standing, hits 1, gets Teddy down. Now the other guys are going to have to push for it. Can Xiaowu make more happen?
Wenbo had to move. He had the blue zone right on his back. With Xiaowu, though, we'll try to see if he can take out 1 with him. No, he won't. R8, they are down Teddy, but they have 8 kills now, 7 kills now, and they might be able to get the revive here. No, that blue is coming too quickly, and they're going to have to cross the street. But Liquid, just all eyes centered over in that direction. Myth looking that way as well. This is going to be tough here for R8. They do manage to get the res and at least deny the point to 17. And they're going to lose AJ in the same time, as it looks like this is just going to be all point denial, and Liquid is reading it. They're going to try to send utility over to secure those points, but they can't get them. R8 will go out in third to themselves.
Smart deny here, but yeah, they had to do exactly that here. And it's a second day of play. Big dash for them to try to make anything happen. They got 7 kills in the third in this game here, but they're still in 24th, and the last play is R8, unfortunately.
It's a heavyweight fight to close things out here in match number 3. Team Liquid, they've got the compound. Myth has all the high ground. They are already over 100 points, and now they just wait. They see if this circle provides them any favor. Unfortunately for them, they'll have to move downhill just a little bit, while Liquid can still maintain their compound position. They can still play from those rooftops. You can see AG.AL playing around the smoke. Kurt right there next to him. Luke playing from the second floor while Cowboy just kind of runs around, seeing if he can find any more utility, any more smokes for when eventually they will have to leave.
And if Myth is able to close this game out, that would mean them already breaking last year's record of the group stage from Rock. That'll be huge. Surely they're going to do it in the later games here, but being able to do it already in match 15 would be insane. A P90 in the hands of Baron is massive, and he's already got cover and is inside this circle here with the utility that they have available to them and the smoke lines that they're already starting to provide here. That could be massive. Both teams setting up for a late game fight. Doritos flying down from the sky, the emergency cover being applied.
Yeah, I think you really like Myth's chances here, honestly. As Team Liquid
they
will start.
return the favor though with the nades.
Yeah, they'll start with the utility barrage. Team Liquid will lose Kurt, as Baron with that flanking angle will find a little bit of space through the smokes to get that knock. Team Liquid retreat, try to reset, get that res onto Kurt, get him back on his feet. We'll see how much utility they have left in the bag once it's all said and done, as the blue zone grenades not going to fall where they need to. But Luke forced down from his high ground spot. Actually gets a little bit closer, and Jacob will find him with the grenade. It's going to be tough to get that revived. Kurt not even revived yet, as Cowboy going to take a lot of damage. I think that was another blue zone grenade that does it. Will finish off Kurt in the process. AG.AL holding on to this high ground as much as he can, but Myth is just securing this.
So well executed by them. The utility being put out at the exact right spots to deny any revives or anything. The blue zone damage, especially with the 10 ticks here. They could have got Kurt in and just put him inside the house here, but they thought with a quick res that they could get him up quickly so they could defend this push that's inevitable from Myth.
Just a stranglehold from Myth, and it was always going to be difficult for Liquid to have to leave this compound, as Myth is just everywhere. There's not much Liquid can do. They at least managed to survive the initial onslaught of utility, but Baron with that P90 will find AG.AL. It's down to Cowboy. He's going to lay down the smokes, try to escape, try to see if he can maybe get one more point. Panzerfaust in hand for Myth as they make the push, and they will secure another win for Made in Thailand.
So well executed by them here, having that southern control there, but it does feel like all the other teams are just so scared to face them. But now, in triple digits, Kiss maintaining control of his lead on the most kills here in the group stage of Esports World Cup 2026 in Paris.
A lot of action in that game. The ending of 4v4, a little bit anticlimactic just because of how the whole thing shaped up, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Myth managing to secure what they should have secured, and Liquid getting all the way to the end game. Second place, they did manage to collect a nice little stack of kills for themselves as well, just to kind of further secure their hold on the top 16 spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Now absolutely guaranteed in the final for Liquid, being above that AG.AL and full sense 61 and 60 points. It's exactly how to play it. Again, the circle comes towards you like this here, but the way that Myth played that late game with their utility, putting on so much pressure on Team Liquid once they only had the small houses and riches to play here. Extremely well executed.
Yeah, you can say they're still excited, and maybe a little less excited than they were the first time they got its old hat by now. They are very, very secure, and will overtake last year's first place group stage winners record. So that is good news for them. A little something to hang your hat on as you head into grand finals.
Yeah, and now we'll see how far they can push it. And Kiss just laughing as he walks off. I'm like, oh yeah, easy peasy. And that's expected here. That was crazy. They've played 9 games and won 4 of them. That's wild. Just insane for Myth.
Wild stuff for them. Well, we've got 3 more games left today to determine who our top 16 is going to be, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, it's Avenger here, the PUBG Unk, and I'm here with in-game settings with Shrimsy from Falcons. How do we get a setup for an Esports World Cup past champion?
I like to have my chair as high as I possibly can without my legs dangling so that I get like this 90-degree angle, you know? Yeah, I like to be taller than my desk as well. So about 72, 73. I like to have like my belly button hitting my desk, at the same height. And then with my keyboard and mouse, I like to have my mouse pretty far right and then my keyboard pretty far left.
Right, Shrimpsy, talk to me the screen settings here, saturation, digital vibrance. What's important to you when you get into a setup?
For monitors, I like to have my brightness really high, so I usually do 100.
Okay.
My contrast is lower, like 60 usually. Those are really the only settings I mess with. Sometimes I mess with the color settings, but not a lot.
And Shrimpsy, of course, the headset's also important here. Like sometimes you just use those, you get in-ears. What's your preference here?
So I use in-ears personally. I think if I didn't play professionally, I would use a headset. It's a lot more comfortable. It doesn't hurt your ears at all. It's very comfy, so.
All right, walk me through your mouse here. DPI, what's your sense, what's your hertz, what's your use? Because that's also something that's super important. You go in, you gotta get used to it. You gotta get comfortable what you're used to at home as well.
So I use 800 DPI, it's one of the defaults. It's 1,000 polling hertz, and then in-game, I use 35 general sense, so I'm pretty high.
And last one here, the shortcuts in the game. A lot of people use a lot of difference, but tell me, smokes, grenades, first aids, and energies. What's your shortcuts? How close it's to you? Is it something you use the menu for, or is it within reach?
I have every single thing bounded to my keyboard. I don't like to use any wheels.
Nice.
So for my first aid, I have it on in, because I could use it with my thumb. I don't have to go into tab and click it. It's just a fast key. My med kit now, which is super important because
New buff?
they buffed it. I use caps lock. So pretty much everything I can use while I'm, peeking or crouching, jumping.
All right, thank you so much, Shrimpsy. This was in-game settings with Falcons and with Shrimpsy from here. And I'm really happy that you showed us how to be one of the best. Personally, you're on my Mount Rushmore. Maybe not the GOAT yet. Maybe that will show if you win here.
Thank you.
We were there for every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here now. The proud founding partner of EWC, powering the biggest event in gaming, shoulder to shoulder with the world's best, making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion, reach your impossible.
All it took was for me to start talking about some of the squads that we were expecting to show up today to show up. Like Myth being able to get that chicken dinner, and then we had R8.
R8? You're talking about R8, the team that made a 4-man sacrifice, which may be the greatest, most strategic.
Yeah, let me just take that away from you,
All right,
sir.
dude has like 2 Advils and he just can't handle it apparently. It's all right. Okay, that's not real.
Why would you do that to me?
I didn't want you to talk about R8.
Hey.
So I was talking about, we finally saw them use the BRDM. That was just about it.
Oh, the BRDM is what you're excited about. They did use it, but then they lost it, and they couldn't cross the street, which is why I think they laid on a grenade. But honestly, come on. Would you have done that? Would you?
Mom, can you come pick me up? I'm scared.
You know what? Lace, you want to just get out of here?
Fair enough. All right, I guess we'll do the next segment by ourselves.
I guess so, but as I was saying, Mid did end up showing up. We're finally starting to see a little bit of sponge points there towards the top. But even then, I mean, when we went into Zone 5, only 2 teams were alive of the top 6, allowing some of the other squads to be able to come up.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to, let's just stay on the Myth train. First team to hit triple digits, and I mean, that's insanity. And if we want to take into account one of our kill leaders over the group stages, Kiss is very close to being that #1. Didn't be able to capitalize in the points earlier on, but you know who our kill leader actually is? Heather.
Not surprised.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so Heather is actually in our kill leaders over the group stages. So I was watching very closely for Kiss to, capitalize on some more eliminations for Team Myth, but wasn't able to get there. So Heather still's holding that title, but I mean, what a great display from them.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, please. I insist.
I just want to point out how Team Logo's got to be furious. 1,800 damage, only 3 kills to show for it. That's rough.
I think one of Poro's favorite stats is to see who stole kills and who kills were stolen from, which is actually, it tells a lot when you actually look at that. I mean, looking at the damage that Liquid did. Speaking of Liquid, got into a game, getting some points. Yes, Falcons now just have to make that little push, but they've had a decent day as well. But yeah, 17. This I have never seen so many rounds fly towards a person without hitting, and then the Panther was quite unfortunate, but...
Oh, you haven't seen my gameplay then?
To be fair, I haven't. But overall, this was a crazy circle. Paper Thin and I were talking about how difficult this is to play, especially coming down off that ridge, and man, Myth just continued to play it well, and yeah, T1 and Heather just skyrocketed their points today.
I mean, they used so much utility here against Team Liquid as well, and like, obviously, you know, having the building position was, you know, great from Team Liquid, but Myth were just able to capitalize with the car, bringing it through. I was waiting for that big explosion though.
You know, Myth walks away with 7 kills, 17 points. They fought their way over to meet Liquid, which actually let them refresh that utility and go in pretty strong. And then because R8 sort of sacrificed themselves to the gods of PUBG, they didn't even have to use that utility on aggression. Liquid was actually able to turn around and just face Myth, but they were like, oh, that's kind of cool for us. But really, I think what would have happened is if the cross was forced, R8 would have gone up and around that top side and maybe had to choose which team do I fight. So I think both teams are probably ecstatic to see R8 just disappear in a vapor cloud. Yeah, well, that baguette obviously has been a prop for many people because it tasted like 35 hands. That was
it was in my back.
You did not wash that before you gave it to me.
It was in my back pocket. Okay, Toffees, I'm sorry.
As was.
But in regards to some of the other squads, we got to now start talking about just obviously T1, Heather continuing to perform, but I actually want to shift the focus. I want to shift the focus to the top 16 that will be moving on to the finals, because we are currently getting closer and closer to more squads from Group A to get eliminated.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a look, TYLOO is at 43 points in Group A, and Petrichor Road is at 40, so it's unfortunately must be not a great time sitting at home, but look, you're in Paris, so it's okay. But, you know, this gives the opportunity for teams like Genji, I think they were on 42 points, if I'm not mistaken, to overreach that. So today, you know, that is something that they can lock in with. And obviously 3 more matches. Now, I'm not saying Nemesis might get there, but I mean, it's doable. It is absolutely doable, especially as TYLOO and that already had that 40.
It is doable because it's not the grand final. You don't have to win first place right now. You just have to be one of the 16 best, right? It's not a Ricky Bobby moment. This is a just do the best you can, pat them on the heads, and that's enough. So there are teams out there that I think can make those moves. Exactly. So that I think helps some of these teams with a little bit less stress on them.
We've been able to see some of the other squads step it up today. We saw JD Gaming putting up some good eliminations, and 17 Gaming, I mean, even with the chicken dinner. One squad that has been consistent, especially after yesterday's last game, is none other than Falcons, and I believe Calares is currently with the coach.
With these points, what's the feel in the team and how things are going?
The team's feeling great, I'll be honest. We made some changes recently that we had to adjust to, but thankfully before coming here, we made all the adjustments that we needed. We're just trying to be more aggressive, try and take more space, and then obviously with the new meta, we're also trying to, in later circles, try and get center, try and get established, and just not be scared of any teams and just make a name for ourselves.
We had a chat before. Obviously, Tiggleton, I didn't get much out of him. Are you interested in talking about those changes yet?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we made, I guess I made the decision to move Gustav to the main AG.AL and kickstart the co-AG.AL. I'll give a brief reason why. Basically, obviously, I think Kickstart is one of the smartest players in the game, but when he was AG.ALing, he was just obviously in his map too much naturally as an AG.AL. And typically, when we were successful, it was when he was playing with Shrimzy up front in the trenches, just getting down and dirty. When he was AG.ALing, he was just kind of having to think too much. Gustav had experience in the past AG.ALing, and in this new meta, Gustav is like really in tune with like sending and other stuff, because that was never our play style. Our play style was always very structured and disciplined. And obviously you can see just from watching Myth, like, sometimes you just got to go a little crazy. Gustav brings that craziness, and having Kick co-AG.ALing and being with Shrimzy and being up front in the trenches seemed like it was the right thing to do. So prior coming here, I made the change, and I think so far it's been great. Gustav's been great, and Kick's been helping him, which it's been perfect, honestly.
That's the most comprehensive answer we've had so far. Thank you very much.
A lot, you know that.
Thank you. Get back to the stage. Get back to your team. Good luck in the next games.
So, Luti, if we were to play PUBG together, with like you and your friends, do you think I'd understand like French call-outs?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay, so like what's the French word for, for blue zone?
Oh, it's easy. We just say la zone bleue qui pique un petit peu.
Okay.
It's been like the tickling blue zone who's making a little bit of damage,
I mean, would it not just be easier to say something like bleu?
No.
Okay, fine. What about third party, like TP is what we say?
Oh yeah. This is easy as well. You must say something like, il y a une autre équipe qui est en train d'essayer de nous faire les fesses.
Seriously? What does that mean?
It means there is another team who trying to get in our ass.
Oh, okay, sure. Surely TP is just quicker.
No, this is the way.
Okay, how about camping? Like, he's camping over there.
Oh yeah, it's easy as well. It's like, il y a un mec qui a posé sa tente et qui est en train de se préparer pour l'apéro et le barbecue. What? Buddy, you don't want to play with me, my friend? Oh, I guess he's gone now, but we're not gone anywhere because now it's game 4, guys, on our last day of group stage. Casters, back to you. Buddy, come, we can play.
Man, we talk a lot about like how fast communication is and important, and like sometimes languages and how fast you can speak on them, you know, like benefits for Korea and China.
Sure.
I now understand why like the French teams could have a problem every once in a while.
Yeah, it could be. It seems to be a bit of a communication issue there. Yeah, I think poor Barney just had to learn that the hard way firsthand. That did not sound the easiest lingo to pick up.
But it sounded pretty.
It did sound good.
It did sound pretty. All right, so looking into this one, of course, we're going to be starting off everything over into the west. Plane path up in the air, and then we're going to end up over into the northeast. Plenty of space for the teams to play around. Gen G and T1 with some stretching room. But of course, this is Matchman and Paper Thin now taking you through the last 3 games of the day.
Yeah, so we're going to be on Rondo now and just kind of seeing if some of these teams in the middle of the pack can make their run. Gen G starting to scale up a little bit. Kind of curious about them in DK. There's a little bit of
and GAM, I think.
Yeah, they're both interested in the glider, road. So we are going straight west to AG.AL Tin. So this is a pretty hard shifted early western circle. JDG going to be licking their chops off of that. T1 has been having a stellar day off the back of incredible play from Heather, who has always been a really good player. OG Korean PUBG enjoyers will remember his 13-kill rampage that he had by himself.
Well, we've got Navi and Twisted Minds right next to each other. Let's go ahead and listen in what's going on with Boostic in the squad.
On Rondo, we dropping on test track, so middle of the map. Because this is middle in the map, so we have a good chance for good zone,
Best chance for good zone, and then the circle abandons you and goes west.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the funny thing is, I kind of wonder now, with the circle changes to Rondo, like the circles don't have to just sit around the middle of the map anymore because of the land ratio terrain. They could go anywhere. So, kind of curious if that might be something that is changed in the future, where you don't feel like you have to go test track and Neox Factory every time, or those are like some of the that in Stadium are like the really prioritized positions, because the amount of land on Rondo is absolutely massive. Like the map is huge.
It is just full landmass everywhere. Lord only knows where the circle can go a couple of times. And I mean, I'm fine with getting some AG.AL Tin in there. We've been seeing a lot of Eastern lay circles throughout the year. So we look at this. This is going to be great for JDG, trying to get on a climb right now. Presently in that 16th place position at exactly 50 points. And whenever I came into today, off of what we saw with Myth on their first day, I was assuming that they were going to be feasting. They're still having a good day, but I mean, when they had 79 points in just one day, and so far it's still being pretty competitive.
Sure.
I thought maybe the cut lines would come down a little bit, but doesn't seem to be the case. Ooh, Team Liquid looks like they're going to be rolling right up next to Cold.
Okay. This is a big fight early for some really valuable real estate. ALO knows there's a player around the corner here as he's got the pre-fire. He's got Cold down.
Ooh, JDG, do you want to keep in on this one? No, Nons instantly turns away December 12th as well. So Team Liquid going for a great position early, trying to make sure that they can secure it. But they've got to be careful. They do have 17 and Little Ghost that's back behind them.
That's a really nice early win here for Team Liquid, keeping themselves in a really good spot. I mean, basically after that last game, they're good to go to the grand finals most likely, but I think some confidence here would be really nice for Liquid, who has had those moments in the past where they bomb out at the end of a group stage and then they just kind of falter if they even make it to the finals.
They show some hesitation going for an easy fight or an easy kill because they don't want to risk it and they want to play for the later stages. That's always been a Team Liquid MO that would sometimes drive me insane. But remember, we do have eyes in the sky, so we can see everything. We know whenever they can do stuff. They don't always know it. So Team Liquid coming in with that style of play, that's a well-read strategy to understand where to go and assume somebody's going to be in a point. Very well played right now, as it's going to be containment on the rest of JDG, while a whole bunch of friends are now approaching. 17 in vehicles trying to run on the other side of Team Liquid. They better be careful, as we also do have T1 and Geeke on the other side of all of them.
This is exactly what I was just worrying about on the map, Matt, with 17 coming in behind behind Team Liquid. They're going to have this hill position to put some fire down into Liquid, so they need to make a move, and they need to make it fast. You know, they do have Petrichor trying to find a bit of an off angle here, might be able to put a little bit of pressure in response. Yeah, there it goes, but it looks like it's enough to thwart 17 from full committing to this backside of Team Liquid, and they are going to be okay for now, but I think Liquid needs to find a safer spot.
I was a little bit worried about 17 coming into the day. I'll be honest, you know, we were talking about the center meta and trying to get control over positionings. 17 day one, whenever we saw the interviews, they even admitted it. Yeah, it just wasn't good. And now they've managed to finally figure out a little bit more. They've been having a phenomenal day so far, presently in 10th place overall on the climb, tied up with Falcons. That rivalry just seems to never stop.
I love it.
I don't know what it is about 17 and Falcons always just kind of being next to each other.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe T1 was the new hotness that Falcons were flirting with, but nah.
Well, today,
the old X and 17 is always around.
The last couple of days, it's been T1. But yeah, it's still, you know.
Well, specifically Heather, it feels like.
Yeah.
Heather is just playing out of his mind, right?
He is incredible. Like I said, he's a stellar player when he's at his best.
You're a proud papa right now, right?
Very, very proud. He is one of my favorite players. Very much keen on him from the first couple times I saw him playing back in the long ago of the Korean PUBG scene. As we're looking at 17, who has another 1-3 split, been favoring those mightily. Leave Lil Ghost back, put the other three forward. Gonna see R8 just driving on ahead. Twisted Minds is gonna be coming in, of course, from Test Track. A little bit late to the east, but they're in the final, so whatever happens today with Twisted is, you know, just money in the bank.
Well, my eyes are drawn to leaderboard cut position. Remember, it doesn't matter the group, it doesn't matter anything else. There's no like survival stage after this. It is just top 16 that go on, and we have a race for that 16th position right now as Geek is going to be down in 17th at 46, just 4 points back behind JDG and Jin G on the chase. So a lot of Koreans trying to nip at the heels of China right now.
Yeah, you can see Sharper gonna be really close. Gustav did. Oh, Kick hits one. Gustav hits another. The double Panzers are shredding Sharper, and they're gone.
That's a little bit of vengeance back as Falcons find some good clean kills. Oh, hey, that's okay. Now you just get kind of double cars, right? There's a joke that's historic that we'll leave alone there.
Yeah, we'll leave that for Pansy. She's allowed to make those jokes. We are not.
So not a lot of people making the commitment into AG.AL 10. It's really just JDG and Team Liquid on the outskirts. Geek down to the south. A lot of wraps up to the north as we've seen Gam that went for that early drop very far up to the north. Nemesis going to be just to the side of them. Myth, the only squad really playing more over to the west except for Falcons, and that firefight with Falcons was on the zone wall all the way to the west over there. So this is a lot more of a safety anchor play coming out from them. As external from this, we've got a little bit of shots being fired. I don't think it'll lead to a firefight, but it is Vicious and Jin G.
Yeah, I don't think that'll matter too much. I think for Falcons here, this very well could just be a rotation trap where they had a read on how a team was going to make a move. And
trap work.
Yeah, trap work, trap good. And who knows, call, you know, if it was Gunnar or Gustav in the heat of the moment. As we just found out, Gustav is the main IGL for Falcons now, and obviously a role that I thought he was just going to be the IGL when they picked him up, honestly.
Well, Gustav brings in a little bit more of a tricky style, and I don't necessarily mind that with Falcons. We've seen the fact that whenever they can play a more opportunistic play style, it works for them, but it hasn't always been something they lean into. Now it's just another arrow in the quiver, really, that they can bring out and find something. And when we look at everything, that circle pop, talking about Falcons, going to feel really good for them and Myth. You can see that right in between Myth and Falcons, there is a giant hillside that's going to be eating up a lot of space, make rotations a little bit more difficult as we move into the south. The northern area is going to be a lot more open, but also a lot of compounds leading all the way up into another little, I guess, island hillside that happens right along that northern area.
Yeah, so this is going to get pretty difficult for a lot of these teams. Everyone's going to be wanting to go around the edges of AG.AL 10. You don't want to get stuck inside of that city unless you have no other choice. I think Liquid was getting some kills there. Let's take a look at this Panzer from Gustav. They do a lot of damage to him on that first one. Kick gets one on the other side, and then, oh, that's so well done.
Boom. Patience pays off. The timing on not being able to have the Panzer ready for the first one set up the second one in a great way. Rotates coming out, a couple of shots onto T1 as it looks like they're going to go for that big hillside that we were talking about just a moment ago. A lot of squads going to be forced to play more into the east. Gam making a rotate over into the north. Team Liquid on a slow rotate here. They don't got to go too far. Really, we've got about 50-50 the way that this road cuts through. It's going to eat a lot of space, so Nemesis just going to go ahead and send it in, but it's on top of Myth, and these guys have just been hungry all day today.
Oh, and it's Kits again. 2 kills. He is just unbelievable. The guy is one of the best players on the planet, hands down right now, and he just dispatches Diffix and Soset with ease. And now Nemesis was hoping that this northern side of the circle would be a little more free than it was, and they found out the hard way.
So what I was talking about a second ago, we've got the road that's going to be a lot of squads over into the west. It's going to be the more raised section of everything we're looking at. Over into the east, it's going to be AG.AL 10 eating up a lot of space, and those hillsides making up awkward pathing. That's why we've got dust-ups like what we're looking at with Falcons and GAM on top of each other. Tickleton's going to be coming in back behind this one. Could have a good angle, and I think that GAM's realized they don't really want to play this position. Juice in a little bit of trouble. Can he juke it out? Near on no life remaining. Is he going to get that last little bit of hit onto him? Is he going to get away? No way. That's Tanvu just covering him, man.
Oh, kick in a really awkward spot.
Oh.
And there it's actually going to be Heather with a dragon up. From where?
How does what is T1 and Falcons? These guys are just at each other's throats from no man's land. That is what, a good 200-300 meters away?
Or maybe more than that. That is really far away, especially with the Dragunov. The drop on that gun, pretty difficult to manage. That is ridiculous stuff.
T1.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so that's the first couple of shots coming up from T1 in this high ground. This is going to be a bane to everybody in the lobby.
That might be like 600 meters.
We need one of Tig's old things that he was using to try to figure out distance.
Oh yeah,
here.
the man, a protractor.
Maybe get ourselves a protractor or something else like that. But that was a crazy shot. 4 Angry Men going to be approaching from the north. AG.AL 10 does have a lot of teams that made commitment in just because of the lack of territory everywhere else, what we were alluding to a moment ago. So that's going to be VC, Team Liquid, remnants of JDG, Twisted, and 17 just the north of it. Circle pops, and ooh, T1 in a great spot. And everybody in AG.AL 10 not necessarily too sad about it.
I really want to see Geeky try to find a way to get this 2-2 split to kind of be a conjoined thing, and they are doing that. They are going to send 2 players down. That's really, really nice, because this is going to get really contested in that northern side. There isn't a ton in terms of compounds to play with.
But you're moving right into the T1 firing line while you have Twisted on the other side. That's a brutal gauntlet to deal with. You have to make it in the hillside just a little bit further away to at least get away from Twisted. They've got there. Now at least have some moment of safety here in this one spot. It is pretty centered up, but the rest of your squad has to make a rotate, and it looks like Winbo just can't really find the way to get over there.
Yeah, for 17, this has gotten pretty dicey because of what you were talking about. That road that they have to run down is very hotly contested. Meanwhile, 4 AM has found their way into the circle, has the hill with the tower on it, and they have Myth kind of circling around them a little bit, just looking for a positioning mistake from 4 AM that they could potentially capitalize on. But 4 AM also has the safety of a BRDM here.
Down to the south, Gen G is going to get them another hillside. They're going to have vision on what's going on with Na'Vi over into the east. 4 Angry Men, while yes, they do have that BRDM, they've got Falcons over to the west, and they've got Myth back behind them. Twisted Minds to the east. That's a terrible position to be in, as R8 had the same idea that 17 did, but Winbo just defending it right now. All 3 players still alive, and R8 nowhere to go. They're going to drop real early.
Yeah, that didn't go good. That did not go good there for R8. I mean, again, like I mentioned earlier, the reason I wanted to see Geeky kind of form up into a 4-man was because of stuff like this, where teams are going to have to crash because they don't have a lot of better options. You know, a couple teams get jammed up in AG.AL 10, which is not ideal. And there's that kill I was talking about that you're looking for. That's even the BRDM. Nobody else from 4 AM is there right now. And this just could be stolen.
Myth is moving aggressive for it. They want it. This is like, nope, mine. Thanks so much. Baron just going to steal it. Run away from it. 4 Angry Men now has to retreat the angle. Window at least trying to get something back, but no. Myth eyes on continuing to climb right now. Falcons were watching all of that, so they know who their neighbors are. This is a much dicier circle than what we were originally looking at, specifically for Phase 3. AG.AL 10 still going to have a lot of that territory in, but the center and kind of to the south is so vertical in the western area that it is going to be so hard to deal with.
No, you're right. There's a lot of high ground in this circle. It makes things very, very complicated. For a lot of the teams that, again, don't have something that's safe already, and even going forward could make things tricky. Shrimzy sees E-End out on the rock and can't really get the shots to connect there with the Mark 12, but this is just a little bit of posturing for Falcons. This doesn't feel like their kind of desired destination, and they're getting ready for some pre-rotations, it looks like, into the next phase. Meanwhile, T1 is sitting pretty happy and hoping that this circle stays in their favor.
Nemesis has 2 players up, and it's Melman all the way over to the northeast, still in AG.AL 10, and then a big wrap coming in on the other side. State is so far over to the west, he's back over against the zone wall with this new circle pop. Gen G and T1 are going to have a ton of vision on everything. T1 has to be careful, though, as it looks like a couple of squads are going to be running right into their face. No options. Falcons got Myth back behind, and 4 Angry Men trying to cut in the path very early. Gen G as well as Na'Vi going to have control of the south, and AG.AL 10's about to suck.
Yeah, and that's why you're seeing Team Liquid take an emergency pickup here to try to get somewhere else potentially. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. I don't know where they're going to go.
How's 4 Angry Men getting away with this rotate? Somehow they're squeezing by everybody. Finally, everybody's starting to unload onto him, but there's enough of a little dip over here that they can get into position, but Gam is waiting. These nades are about to go right up into their face. Goes a little bit too far down the hillside, though, to connect and get what they want. Finally, that bounce lands on top of a car, but it's a bit too late. There we go. Finally, TYLOO connects with one.
Yeah, Gam there not really reading the angle of the hill properly, so a lot of their grenades were funneling down away from them. But yeah, 4AM is getting shredded right now. They are not having fun. Team Liquid losing players because they just try to drop on top of Gen G. It is absolute madness here on the south side.
This is terrible for 4 Angry Men. Even if they can get distance away from Gam, and now that VC's come up back behind on the other side of Gam, that's kind of stopped the relenting nade tosses that were getting thrown their way. T1 still has high ground positioning over him. T1's going to get eliminated. Now we still have a couple of rotates that are going to be problematic, as it is going to be Twisted having to make a move into the circle where 17's going to be defending. And Myth actually pushing right in the face of T1 on the high ground. That could be big.
Well, yeah, now T1 kind of given their first big test in this circle to defend this spot that they took very, very early on. TYLOO, if you hit this Panzer, I will be very, very impressed. He's got a good angle at it. Ooh, just came up short, hit in front of Wenda. And we'll see. Myth is actually making their attack work here.
Well, they have the BRDM that they just sold, so they're just kind of brute forcing their way up the hillside. Falcon's going to be wrapping now onto the other side of 4 Angry Men. Gen G is going to get vision on them, so 4 Angry Men just entrenched over here, but not in the best of ways. The trees just providing enough cover for the time being. As no, Falcons actually pulled away, saw all the shots going at 4 Angry Men, and they're going to go to the hillside right underneath the T1 is, man.
I thought the Doritos did that for a second. It almost looked like it.
4 Angry Men, what do you even do? Do Falcons see that and go back down the hillside? They're just kind of caught between the two hills in the valley and get peppered.
Well, they're trying to kind of find an angle into this fight. TYLOO will deal with Wenda, though. And now over into this tree to scoop up their spoils are Gam. 17 in the meanwhile still defending this pagoda up on the hill. Batulin's going to be a little bit more disciplined with his approach.
Twisted better be careful. There's a couple of solos back behind them nipping at their heels. If there's an opportunity, somebody's going to go for it. Little Ghost gets a knock onto Example. Nice nade throws coming out. Blue zone right on top of Blue's going to make it a lot scarier. Maybe open up something for Suze, but no, it's going to be Perfectix. Gets a knock on a Wimbo. 17 suddenly starting to falter in their defense. Goes down Twisted, though. The circle abandons them, cuts south. All the firefighting. It's going to be GK now focused up with Myth and Baron right on top of him.
Yeah, Gam getting involved a little bit there, too. So a bunch of teams all of a sudden know that Twisted has to leave the safety of this cover. Grenades even starting to make their way in from Baron of Myth, but Twisted succumbing to the blue mostly here. Heather with that Dragunov again, looking to replicate some of those sick shots he was hitting earlier. There it is, the headshot for Heather.
Look, he was beaten in at like 300 meters from those last shots, right? Taking second there. Gustav, nade bounce going to go a bit too far to flush him, but could stall out. Really, the longer that Gustav can stay alive over here, it's going to slow down the T1 rotate. Trimsy's right underneath of him. So T1 not feeling too good about this, but they can't go to the east. Myth's already waiting there. Gam, who we saw, has got control of that trench line for so long. T1's going to have to either deal with Falcons or do a wrap around, maybe down to the south, but then they have to deal with Gen G, who they already know are on that hillside.
Yeah, so T1, it's nice that you're going to essentially eliminate Gustav. Actually, Gen G steals that point, so you don't even get the point now that it matters too much for them. But you've got tough sledding ahead for the reasons you mentioned. Batulins, Wild send it.
He's all by himself, nowhere else to go, so it's just time to be bold and see if he can steal it. And he's somehow squeaking by all these squads. They were caught shooting at everybody else right now, so Batulin's going to sneak right up next to the Falcons. I wouldn't go too much further. He sees the cars and you hear the brakes slam on like, nope, this is it. This is as far as I want to go.
And he's got to deal with Gam just on the other side of that road. Not going to be easy for Batulins. Yeah. T1 sending it up towards Gen G. Salute prepping a nade. He's got the rest of Gen G circling in towards him. T1 doesn't want to give them the angles. They're not going for the top of that hill. They're maybe looking for something around these rocks.
I really like this. They baited around Falcons, moved into the low ground. Now Falcons are taking shots at Gen G. T1's just trying to sneak this one by, but the looming giants down into the southeast are going to be Na'Vi. They haven't had to get too involved so far. They're going to spot out T1 and get a knock on him right before they can get a stop off.
There's just nowhere for T1 to go. They had to either take a fight or do something absolutely bananas, and instead they're just kind of lost trying to find anything that's inside of this circle that'll work with. Yeah, EN might just be bleeding out here as that vehicle is going to explode very shortly. Hakatori lining up with another nade will probably get the flush. Indeed he does, and Type almost goes down with his teammate.
This one spot does have a reprieve away from Gen G and their high ground. There is some vision, but Gen G is more focused on where Falcons are playing at. And so Gen G's playing a position that's more to the southwest of this. That's all T1 to kind of hunker down. BC is close, but they're in a lower section. Just down below all of this is there's a multi-tiered firefight. There's Gen G up on top, then there's the road and the crossroads that intersects. That's the middle tier. And then we've got GAM, Myth fighting on one side of the road. Then we got VC as well as DK fighting on the other side.
It's so funny to see players use frags to create a little bit of extra room in the terrain and have to use some of that emergency cover as well, and just kind of hope it doesn't land on you here as T1. You'll take any safety you can get.
Twisted's like, Batulin's just a wall right now. Has kind of forced Falcons down into that GAM positioning. Seeing if maybe they can steal anything. Nade's going to go right down into their face. A bit too far. Tanvu playing the high side of the hill, just trying to get away from Myth right now. Hearing the shots from Myth going on to GAM, it looks like DK might be trying to backstab Myth. If Myth stays too focused on this, they might get pounced.
This is just the classic Batulins. When you're the last player alive, send it center and just get away with it. Just get away with absolute murder.
He is the best snake in the game.
I think so. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Yeah, the Batulins. Definitely a Slytherin is Batulins.
Oh, because he's Slytherin. I get you. This is what I was worried about, though. DK backstabs right on to Jacob. Gets the knock. Okay. Guys, you've got high ground, you've got all this to dial in. It is a bit complicated, though. From high ground to hit these lower ground positions, you've got to dial it in and back a little bit more. It's all balanced about being on a flat piece of terrain, so you have to make sure you pull back just a bit more. Where is it going to land? Right in between everybody. There is GAM's just somehow still alive in what was kind of a terrible position.
Yeah, absolutely. GK here needs to make this work against Myth relatively quickly. They don't have a lot of time, and Scappy's going to find a grenade onto Sungjong. You can see Shrimzy putting some damage in, but can't really get great eyes onto GAM from where he's at. Meanwhile, Bean needs to try to get his teammate up. You can see that Soul in front of him was knocked earlier. Shrimzy still just harassing from this hillside. Falcons clinging to this edge nicely.
Saw, what, 34 bullets or something like that left for Shrimzy. They've been fighting for a while and not much left in the tank, as Na'Vi is now going to move into a more controlled position in the lower side of the hill that Gen G's been trying to keep dominant. You can see that the way that these hillsides kind of roll down into the lower section, it's much harder to defend on that eastern approach. It means that Gen G doesn't have too much more options. They can either push down into Falcons and T1, or they have to take the fight against Hakatori and Na'Vi.
I think as Gen G, you're going to lean to this, yeah, for sure. The way the hill angles is just a little bit better for you than what, Na'Vi's going to have some cover to work with at the bottom of the hill, whereas Falcons, you can get a lot closer to them because of that edge. Park Pro going to be knocked here for DK. They are still having a tough time in these fights against Myth and GAM. We will get a point for Sungjong onto Clory. Scappy trying to just hold the line over on this side. Has to prone down. Grenade not really finding any damage.
This is a big game for DK, though. Finding these kills and put them up to 50 points. They are now ahead of JDG on the top 16 leaderboard that we're looking at. Can they manage to take down Myth? Getting a bit picked apart right now as they do have GAM on one side. VC looks like they want to get involved. Falcons has realized the push has come down from Gen G. Just too many targets, but Tiggleton holds the line, gets the flush onto Bean one side of it. Salute trying to come down. D's going to go down. Where are these nades going to land? Salute's pretty low on life, but it's much harder for Gen G to hit the nade on this very recessed hillside the Falcons are playing.
Yeah, ooh, that's bad news here for Salute. He just got that first nade off in time.
They're backflanking.
Oh, here we go. Na'Vi knows that they could take him down, and they're just slamming into the backside. Falcons are like, okay, maybe we'll just wait this one out a little bit. And I think that's going to be the end. Yeah, Gen G done and dusted. No placement points for them.
Na'Vi has a great position. They've got control over about 50% of the circle, except for Stade. He's kind of hiding out over there. All of our other squads outside the circle, except for T1, who's just kind of huddling down in the shadow of this hillside. Falcon's going to probably be moving to contest with them. But GAM, who's had to defend that trench for so long, now has to figure out how they're going to cross the road with GK as well as Vicious right next to him.
It's all kinds of messy, that's for sure. I mean, I think VC Vicious needs to make the wrap that Na'Vi just kind of did, but they're missing their timing, missing their window where they could potentially get into Na'Vi's backline. It seems like they didn't have the confidence. Now, Stade is
You want to push a hillside across an open road where Hackatory and Boostic are holding high ground on you?
They just moved back there, though. They had a moment when Gen G was up on, when they're fighting Gen G on the other side of the hill is what I mean. And so they could have come in through there, but they just maybe were pinned down by Geek or something.
VC, you're making the right call. It's really all VC can do, but it's going to feel real bad.
Oh, it's not easy.
But it might open up an opportunity if Stay backstabs on it. But I think that VC might just go on the hunt for more kills. Tycon keeps looking over at Geek and thinking there might be a couple of tasty treats over there for him. This is the cut line firefights as it is VC at 56 points, Gam at 59, of course Geek at 52. All just trying to see how many more points they can get away from that 16th place position and get some breathing room, but it is just everybody stacked up outside the circle and on top of each other.
Yeah, the circle's gonna make things even more different. Wow! Oh, his car gets in there, does take down EJ. Duck2's going absolutely crazy. Him and Tanbu gonna combine to take out VC. Park Pro, can he do anything else in response? Nope. Tanbu gonna deal with him.
Go signal for one side of it. It looked like Falcons want to get involved, but Type is still just holding the line right next to him, entrenched down into a little hole. Boostic also getting some vision on what's going on T1, so they can't really defend this. Gam's going to have to burn a lot of smoke off of those bodies, get something after everything they picked up. Do they even still have a car over there? It looks like they might. And are they going to wrap into where Falcons is at? Oh, man. This is going to get crazy real quick. Good shots come out from Hackatory and Boostic. Get the knock on 2 already.
Yeah, things pretty much over for Gam at this point. Indeed, they do go down. So your top 4 be Na'Vi, Falcons, T1, and Nemesis Tiggleton right up and over. Actually, that was going to be Hackatory who got that knock, helping Tiggleton out a little bit there. Tiggleton does claim the point. Boostic on the other side will end T1's run in 4th.
Okay, so Na'Vi's got control over the circle. They know where Falcons is, but Stade is still alive on the other side of this. If Boostic peeks the wrong side of this, he could be punished fast. Falcons having a great game, 9 kills, make it in the later stages. Na'Vi, though, in the high ground, going to be in that 4th place position, feeling comfortable to qualify. Can they close out this game, or is the solo back behind him going to backstab him at the worst moment?
I mean, Stade, he just needs to hope that the Falcons can do a little bit of damage into Na'Vi, and it will open up that opportunity for him to strike. It's just a matter of the timing. I mean, you can use the edge of these hills to get a peek, make it really, really challenging for Falcons, who might just, I don't know if they're going to give up. I don't know how much utility they have left. You know, they could just go down to the blue, but Stade, if he can find that one player, he's going to see some.
Oh, dude, he has the LMG as well. Oh, that's like so great at this stage to try to backstab with. You maybe get 2 knocks off of it. Boostic is going to get vision. Hackatory going to get the knock, so Tickleton's going to go down. Starting to have the window closed back behind Stade. He knows it. It's all about how long can the Falcons survive. Shots come out just a bit too late. 3 players still up for Na'Vi. Stade at least managed to get the knock on a Boostic. Falcons has gone down. It's a 2v1 and just really a rock for cover. Hackatory is going to be playing up to the north. Looks like he needs to get his meds in a better position, but High Ground Fairist might have something to say.
Oh, man. If he could have gotten that knock there on the Hackatory, could have made it a 1v1, but now Hackatory going to be afforded the opportunity to get the first aid kit into play. And he's going to keep pushing forward, has that barrel, wants to put it to good use.
Playing the smoke, knows where Stade is. Faris is feeding that information over. Faris is going to go ahead and try to regroup. Looks like he might try to use the car to go for a res onto Boostic just to make sure that they keep this nice and clean. Hackatory, though, doesn't even matter. He's just going to finish it off. Great play coming up from Na'Vi. They read that circle perfect.
Well, this is a team that a lot of people had on their radar as potential winners here for EWC, and they are making a strong case for that right now in the group stage. They have been absolutely electric, garnering a couple wins here today, and the way they managed the end of that game, very, very efficient, very smart.
Big shout out to Stade for Nemesis, though. Those guys were down to 2 real early, like what, circle 3-ish?
Yeah.
Managed to survive, navigate a very weird circle. I mean, whenever we saw the verticality and valleys that were in play on that one, getting good placement points for his squad, trying to steal away a little bit more there at the end. Also Falcons, big high kill count game for them.
Yeah, man. I mean, they're just kind of chugging along. Like they're just doing their thing. It seems like they're willing to play this edge game. They're looking for kills. They're doing a nice job finding them. You know, and like Gunnar said, they want to send it center circle later in the games. That's kind of been their strategy here so far. This one, they're able to send it in there, get deep into it, eliminate a couple opponents in front of them along the way, survive a backstab from T1 potentially, even though they lost Gustav. It's a really, really well-handled game.
Rat Race down there in 16th place is getting spicier by the seconds as well. Always fun to see. as we still have 2 more games to look at, and this is just going to be, I wouldn't be surprised, very back and forth down there as different squads just going to try to get some breathing room away from each other, but it feels like every time they try to, it's just everybody else in the hunt right next to them.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult in the middle of the pack, especially. There's a lot going on there. I'm
nervous. The pack there.
Yeah.
That is the opposite of middle of the pack that we're looking at there. Is some big opportunities for Myth today. Is it's that squad. I don't know where their skill ceiling is. It feels like every single time you're thinking they might be getting close to it, another player just figures out a way to evolve and find something, and it's getting scarier. But like every week, they just find some new way to ruin your day.
The glow up they've had since we first saw them on the global stage as Forest Natural Gaming until now, where their Myth is incredible. Like the difference is night and day.
The way they understood, no, we need that BRDM. They saw an opportunity.